Network. And as you may notice, things are a little different around here. I am in a different spot. Brad is in a different spot. James is in the same spot. That's fine. But we are also live as we speak. So, second live show ever, as we know. We had an earlier live show this week, which was pretty fun. We did a mock draft. It was a cool time. But today is the real draft. No more mock, no more bullshit. It is time to go. And I don't know about you guys, but I definitely did my yearly draft day watch last night. Had to. I know a lot of haters out here for the movie. It's not a great movie, but it's fun. So it gets you pumped for the day, you know. But with that being said, we do have a lot of rumors to kind of comb through already. Draft hasn't started yet. We're still 7 or so minutes away. So we will kind of take this as it comes. We know this is a long process, so bear with us, but we're going to have some fun. Toast to the Lions, bringing us a starter at the edge sometime through this draft. Now, with that being said, rumors are flying. The Jaguars are apparently trying to trade up. The Browns are apparently trying to trade down, which I kind of saw coming, if I'm being honest. Earlier today, I tweeted out that the Jaguars would be really interested, or should be really interested in Mr. Travis Hunter, the defensive back wide receiver out of Colorado. Now, it's going to cost quite a bit to move up to that spot because, I mean, it's the number 2 pick. I know this isn't a great draft, but they are only moving up 3 spots, but they're giving up really the only blue chip number 1 elite prospect in this draft. So with that being said, I do not necessarily expect the Jaguars to trade up at this point, but I definitely could see it happening. So crazier things have happened, and Travis Hunter would make a lot of sense there. Wide receiver, corner. He, kind of does it all. So totally see the Jaguars moving up, and we've heard all week that they're going to make a splash, and what a splash that would be. They need corner, they need wide receiver, so we will kind of see how that shakes out. We're about 6 minutes away now. We will have a guest joining us pretty soon. We'll kind of keep it under wraps for now. We'll introduce him once he gets here. He should be here any minute. It is not someone you guys are probably familiar with if you're a Lions fan, so that'll be fun for you to hear a different perspective than what we're used to. So, but with that being said, Shedeur Sanders, okay, that might be a big conversation piece. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll let you guys kind of guess where we're going.
Dion?
I wish that would be that'd be a hell of a scoop there, wouldn't it? I think we might have made our careers with that one. Deion Sanders Jr. follows me on Twitter, so maybe we could get Deion Sanders Jr. I don't know about Deion. Prime might be a little big of an ask there. No, but it should be a lot of fun tonight. We got a lot going on, so as always, draft day is a frickin' blast. Now, like I said, rumors are flying. Do you guys think the Jaguars should trade up for Travis Hunter?
James, I'll let you go first.
It's such a cop-out answer, but once again, depending on the price. Do I like him as a fit? Yes, because excuse me, Jacksonville needs an actual number 1 corner, and they have Brian Thomas Jr., so they do have a pretty good number 1 over there. But they could use the number 2 receiver, even though I do see Hunter more as a number 1. They would have 2 number 1s, but I digress. But once again, it depends on the price. They have holes all over the place. As the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars in our mocks, I actually was trying to trade down, and I believe I did trade down in one of them because they have lots of needs, and they, trading up, you can fill fewer holes. But that would be a very good asset for them to acquire as long as they're not giving up everything,
Yeah. And here he is, the man we were just talking about. Tell me if I'm saying this wrong. Nick Farabaugh.
That is correct.
Hey, there we go. Always love to get the names right. So you are joining us here from Penn Live. He is a Pittsburgh Steelers writer. So really, Shedeur Sanders, obviously, is the big talking point for the Steelers and really the NFL right now. Nobody really knows where he's going to go. My main question for you right now, man, is first of all, would you want him as a Steelers fan, as a Steelers writer? And second, what are the odds they pass on him if he's there at 21?
Well, I think the odds are kind of decent, actually. I'm hearing more defensive line, specifically Derek Harmon or Kenneth Grant, to them at 21. So I think it's kind of likely they actually end up passing on him, which is kind of crazy because, 36 to 48 hours ago, I actually had heard more and more that they were going to take him. But there's been a shift. Maybe they're trying to smoke screen things, different things such as that. But here's the thing. I think the Steelers right now, they're in the AFC. They're in a loaded AFC. Shador's a high floor player. He's got accuracy. He's really good above the neck. But I think he's got some issues, man. He's not got a great arm. He's not a rotational thrower. He's a linear thrower. I'm always kind of wary of guys that are not rotational throwers. He doesn't get a lot of power through his core, and so that causes some of those balls that are deep balls outside the numbers to flutter. I don't think he gets great velocity on them, so I'm kind of skeptical he's going to be able to hit anticipatory throws over the middle of the field in those tight windows. I think that's a big issue for him. I think he's a guy that doesn't have a super high ceiling. He's kind of maxed out. He reminds me a lot of Louisville Teddy Bridgewater. That's kind of who I see in Shador. He's a solid prospect, but the Steelers in the AFC right now, they need a guy that can compete with Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson, Herbert, all of these great players, Allen, all of those great quarterbacks. That's what they need right now, and I'm not sure Shador gives them that. And I think they like Shador, but they don't love Shador. And when they took Kenny Pickett, they only liked him. They didn't love him. I don't think they're going to make the same mistake again. So I'm not expecting them to take Shador Sanders. And in fact, I think it's the smart move to not take Shador Sanders.
Yeah, those are all really good points, and, points we've shared on the show many times before, so we definitely are in the same wavelength with you on that. My next thing would be, since you don't really think Shador is the answer, obviously, so you feel comfortable rolling into the season with Mason Rudolph under center?
Well, listen, I think the Steelers need to have a year where maybe they're a little down. I think that's, not necessarily a thing that is in their DNA, obviously, between the non-losing seasons. They haven't had a losing season since 2003. But I remember the last time they had a losing season, and that was the year that catapulted them up the board enough to get Ben Roethlisberger. And obviously that gave them enough ammunition to get 2 Super Bowls in the mid to late 2000s. And so they could use a year like that. I think Mason Rudolph is not a bad idea right now. He's not a starting level quarterback. There's no doubt about that. But why trade assets for Kirk Cousins, for example, and take on salary? What are you really getting with that? Are you just getting to 9-8, 10-7, and out in the first round again? I mean, the Steelers went 10-7 with Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and Mitch Trubisky, and had the same result. What are you doing there? Signing Aaron Rodgers, again, are you doing there? Is he really a ceiling raiser? He's a better quarterback than Mason Rudolph, but are you going to change the outcome? Are you winning a playoff game with Aaron Rodgers? The Steelers have bungled their quarterback situation for far too long, and even this offseason, they've had a really bad process for it. I think making a panic move is a bad one. If they sign Rodgers, it is what it is. It's probably expected at this point. I'm not sure it dramatically changes the outcome, but I think going to the season with Mason Rudolph, he's not a viable starting quarterback. He's not a real starting quarterback. But on the other hand, if the Steelers are bad for 1 year, is it really all that bad? They hit on a quarterback, and they already have a lot of cornerstone pieces, I think, to where that quarterback could ignite them going forward to real actual contendership. And I think that's really where they need. They need to get out of this purgatory cycle somehow. And a bad year wouldn't be the worst thing for it.
Yeah, and that's really valid, too. There's a really good quarterback class coming out next year. And like you said, they kind of need a guy that can, go up against these Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, these elite Josh Allen types. So my next question for you is, and, I don't really put too much into these rumors, but I did hear a inkling of a rumor that TJ Watt might be a tradable piece for the Steelers. Now, my question is, do you think that's a realistic move that the Steelers would even think about making at this point? And if it is, what do you think maybe the compensation would look like?
I don't think that they're thinking about that. I think they're going to pay him. They're going to pay him near where Myles Garrett got paid, whether that's $40 million, $39 million, somewhere around there. He's going to get paid, and he's going to be one of the top paid edge rushers in the NFL. So I think they are going through that. They've had talks with him already. I think those talks have gotten a little bit more spiky, hairy with the Garrett extension. Having that $40 million per dollar edge rusher in the NFL has made it a little bit harder to sign him, but they're going to do it. But if they did trade him, I think they could get a late first. I think they could probably get another day 2 pick with that. I don't think they're getting 2 firsts. I don't think they're getting anything crazy. They can maybe get a second and a third, 2-day 2 pick, something like that. I think is around the right price. So, listen, if they wanted to trade him, they could get some really good picks for him. But also, he's the cornerstone of their franchise. He's the lifeblood of it. He's their best player. If they want to win playoff games and try and win a Super Bowl, even in this window, he's 30 years old. So there's definitely an argument to be made they could trade him. But are they going to? I don't think so.
Yeah, and that's very valid. That's kind of my thought process too. Like you said before, the Steelers, they have a good core. They are getting a little older, as we know, but they have a solid core for, I would say, the next 3 years probably, where they could, like you said, draft that quarterback next year or maybe even get one in free agency or however they do it, and build a playoff team, which, like you said, they're kind of stuck in purgatory right now. So I think that's a really, really great point there. And I also wanted to, I wanted to say as Lions fans, we would love it if TJ Watt was available, because I'll tell you what, if that was the case and he was available for a second and a third, like you said, oh man, I would pay that today. I would give you that right now. Especially because, guys like Trey Hendrickson apparently are available for what sounds like a little bit more than that. So TJ Watt probably is staying in Pittsburgh, but I did think about it. He is getting a little older. The defense is getting a little older, so it wouldn't be that crazy, I think. Now, moving on, my next question for you is, what if it's not Sanders, obviously, like you said, who are your favorite prospects for the Steelers at pick 21?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite one personally has always been Jahdae Barron for them. They have Darius Slay on the outside, but they need a nickel. They need a really good nickel corner. They've needed one for a while, and then he could shift outside next year when Slay's probably retired or gone, to pair with Joey Porter Jr. I just love Jahdae Barron's game. I've loved Jahdae Barron's game the entire time. He's a top 10 player in this class to me. So he's probably my favorite, but he's not their biggest need. Their biggest need outside of quarterback is probably defensive line. And so you look at that, and I like Derek Harmon the best of what they could get. He reminds me a lot of Stephon Tuitt, one of the more underrated defensive linemen of the 2010s, in my opinion. He was great with the Steelers. They haven't really replaced him since he unexpectedly retired in 2021. They need to get something there. Cam Hayward's 36 years old. He's still playing at an all-pro level. Unbelievable that he is. But he's not getting younger. The fact that he's still playing is kind of crazy, to be quite honest with you. And they need someone with Keanu Benton. And so I think Derek Harmon could be that. He could be a disruptive force for them. Kenneth Grant, he's a nose tackle that I think has 3-tech upside. A little bit of a different player. Reminds me a little bit of DJ Reader. High floor player. I could see him being the option. And then Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan is just this dynamite stick at 3-tech. I mean, the pass rush reps, the dominance that he has on some stretches is the best D-line tip in the class. It's better than Mason Graham at times, but he struggles with some consistency. The motor's not too hot, and so there's some issues there. But those 3 defensive linemen are some of my favorites. And then the other one that I really like, we've talked about George Pickens trade rumors and all that. I really like Matthew Golden. I like his fit with the Steelers. To me, he's one of the best wide receivers in this class. Across from DK Metcalf, they could definitely use that quick separator type, that route runner type. And so those are kind of the 5 guys I would circle for them outside of Shedeur Sanders.
For sure, and that totally makes sense. We've talked a lot about Harmon on this podcast with, the Lions being a good fit, as well as Walter Nolan. I've personally been a big Walter Nolan fan, as these guys know, throughout this process. So I totally agree with that. And then I guess my next question would be, let's just say, if you guys signed Aaron Rodgers, right, do you think that this Steelers team is a playoff team at that point, or do you think they're just, like you said, middle of the road still?
I mean, they're probably a playoff team. They're probably a 10-7, 9-8 playoff team as a 7 seed. Are they a serious contender? No. The likeliest outcome would be they would be 10-7, second or third in the AFC North, losing the first round to one of those elite teams, just like they do all the time, right? It's just become the same story. Really, since 2020, you can really write the same chapters for the Steelers. It's either barely missing the playoffs or sneaking in and getting crushed. And I think that is on the same path with Aaron Rodgers. He's just not an elevator anymore, right? He's got really good arm talent still, but he's not as mobile anymore. How does he fit in the locker room with personalities like DK Metcalf and George Pickens? There's a potential for explosiveness there. So the locker room fit's, I think, a question on top of that. Aaron Rodgers is a fine player. He's not an elite quarterback anymore. He's a middle-of-the-road player that probably gives them the same type of quarterback play they got last year from Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, which is fine. But they're not going to be anything more than a 10-7 maybe 11-6 if they get the right roles going their way, and they're probably out in the first round of the playoffs. That's just what it feels like again to me. They've been treading water for so long. Aaron Rodgers coming in feels like you're treading water again.
Yeah, that's very valid. It kind of feels like putting a Band-Aid on a stab wound. Um, but I just feel like if you guys got Aaron Rodgers, you would be a solid team. But, like you said, it's not going to be a true playoff contender. So now my next question for you is about DK Metcalf. So when you guys made that trade, right, I assume I guess I can't really assume, but I would assume that you liked it because he's a good player. It was a solid trade. Now, in hindsight, knowing that at least for 1 year of that big contract, Mason Rudolph is likely to be his quarterback, how are you feeling about that deal now?
I mean, I think it's fine because they got themselves a potential out here for George Pickens. And George Pickens is this volatile player. He's not reliable, to be quite honest with you. They could trade him. I don't think they're going to trade him today, but they're probably not going to bring him back after next year. And DK is only 27, so this is a guy that's going to be a big part of your nucleus, not just this year, but through the rest of the careers of guys like TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Minka Fitzpatrick. So he fits your window. So I think it's a good short-term and long-term play. I understand people saying, oh, it was a win-now move, and it was a win-now move, but it also was a win-now move while having long-term upside. And so I think it made sense for the Steelers. There's a reason the Steelers didn't sign someone like Cooper Kupp, for example, right? He's probably only got a few years left in the tank. He's a declining player. DK Metcalf's in his prime. He's still a great receiver. And on top of that, I think it makes sense because they needed that alpha receiver. He's better than George Pickens to me. And at least next year, you have that wide receiver one type. You can get complementary types around a guy like that. They're far easier to find than guys like DK Metcalf. And so the Steelers made that move with long-term foresight in mind, not just short-term. So I think it makes sense for them. They only gave up a second-round pick for that type of talent. I think that's fine. They were going to take a wide receiver early in this class anyway, so instead of taking a guy in what is a limited wide receiver class, one of the poorer ones, to be quite honest with you, in recent memory, they get a proven option, DK Metcalf. I'm completely fine with the deal.
Yeah, for sure. And I would totally agree with that. I personally am a big fan of DK. So when you guys made that deal, I immediately thought, okay, trade George Pickens, try to rebuild this team a little bit on the trenches, because I know that Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line isn't quite, what it used to be. It's a solid line, but they got some holes there. So now I will open this up to the panel to see if anyone else has any questions for you. James, I will let you go first if you have any questions.
First off, Nick, just thank you for joining us today. I know draft day is busy as is. The rumors going on. The show is about to start. Actually, the Titans are on the clock now, although we pretty much know where they're going. But thank you for your time. My question to you would be, if not for like Derek Harmon or oh my gosh, I'm just spacing on the Ole Miss D tackle's name we just talked about.
Walter
But
Nolan.
what other D linemen? Thank you, Walter Nolan. What other D linemen interest you in this draft in terms of that would stand out over the others? I should say.
Yeah, it's an interesting, kind of idea, right? I mean, Harmon and Nolan, I think, are the top two fits for them. Grant says knows. I think, if you're looking at other options for them outside of those guys, defensive tackle specifically, I have Harmon, Nolan, and then Grant 1, 2, 3, personally ranked in that order. But other guys, I could see them, trading back. I think that's an interesting option for them. And I could see them taking a guy like Darius Alexander or Tyleik Williams. I mean, listen, you remember what the Baltimore Ravens did to them. 300 yards on the ground in a playoff game. I mean, I think in the modern NFL, it's hard to lose a game just by poor run defense, but I think the Steelers did it. And so, those two guys, I think, would give them spark plugs there. And I think that's the type of things they need. But I also think Harmon, I think he could give them that. I think Nolan's more of a pass rush specialist, but I think Harmon is actually decently polished as a run defender. So there's a lot of fits they could have. They could even go, later in the draft. They could look at guys like Jamari Caldwell. They could look at guys like Alfred Collins. There's a lot of really good nose tackles in this class. It's actually one of the better nose tackle drafts I can honestly remember. So the Steelers have a lot of options. They could double dip at defensive line too. Again, that's about building the future. They have Keanu Benton, but outside of him, they don't really have a future piece on the defensive line. So just like they spent so much on their offensive line over the past two drafts, I think they could do the same for defensive line in this class. And so there's a lot of fits for them throughout the draft, whether it's the first round or the middle rounds.
Yeah, great stuff, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else,
Brad,
James?
any questions?
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Brad, you got anything for him today?
Yeah, I do. You guys were talking before, about probably needing a reboot. So to play off of that a little bit, when we did our draft, I had the Steelers. Uh, I'm looking at all the needs, and there just seems to me to be a ton of needs. And so that's why I want to give kudos first to Mike Tomlin. I personally think he's the best coach in the NFL. And the reason I say that is because the way he's held this team together, I mean, respectfully, outside of Watt and a couple other players, I personally don't think that there's much talent on this team. So what I'm thinking here is if you go Shadur Sanders, okay, if he doesn't do well, then you have taken your first round pick, you've taken your quarterback, and you've got to stick with him. And that's going to set them back even more. So I think what you're saying is get the total reboot, take a step back to take two forward. If they have that kind of let's say a 5-12 season, which could be possible, they're going to have a really good shot at getting a quarterback and starting this whole thing over again. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's a smart way to go about it. And not only that, they have so many compensatory picks. They might have 2 third-rounders just from compensatory picks next year. So they can have a lot of draft capital. You mentioned the holes that are going to be on the team next year. And specifically, those holes are going to be significant. I mean, they're going to have a need a guard. They might even need a tackle. It depends on what Broderick Jones does this year. They're probably going to need a defensive lineman if they don't double down this year. They'll need a corner. They'll need a safety. They're going to need a receiver. They're probably going to need a running back. They need quarterback still. It's a lot of needs that they have. There's talent on that roster. You talk about some of them. But what happens is if you have that much capital, you can build this much faster. They're going to have a lot of cap space, so they'll be able to kind of really look at their roster, spend money in free agency, build up those spots they want to, and then attack the draft with significant draft capital. And if they're high enough, then they don't have to trade up and get rid of any of that capital. They can just sit there and take a quarterback. And I think that's the smart thing to do. That's the long-term plan for the Steelers is, can we hit this quarterback, use all this capital, draft a lot of studs, have a real franchise-changing offseason, and boom, we're right in the middle of our contention period. Because T.J. Watt, he's 30, he'll be 31, but Hall of Fame edge rushers do age gracefully generally. So T.J. Watt should still have 2, 3, 4 really good years left in him. And I think that's kind of how they look at that and say, man, how can we maximize this window? And I think potentially a down year for them with all that draft capital, with all those needs, but with all this cap space, you can have a really fun offseason, similar to how the Commanders did, similar to how the Texans did. If you hit on the right quarterback, the Steelers can energize themselves right back into AFC contention. It's not that far away from them. They have the outlines of a plan to do that. Now they just need to execute.
For sure. And, Nick, we appreciate you for being on. As always, you're always welcome to come back. This was a great conversation that we had. As we've been talking, we've had 2 huge blockbusters happen. Well, just one blockbuster. The Jaguars traded up to number 2, okay?
Wow.
They have given up let me see what this package is. Let's look. They have given up the 5th pick, 36th pick, the 126th pick, and next year's first-round pick to move from 5 to 2. The Browns traded number 2,
crazy.
number 104, and number 200. So, much there. And, of course, Cam Ward went number 1. However, it does seem like Travis Hunter is going to be the pick here for the Jaguars.
Wow.
Which is
that's why they're the
crazy.
Jaguars. That is why they're Shaka Khan. That's what I call them, Shaka Khan. No, you could no. That's why you're the Jags. Good luck.
Oh,
Hey, I see you drinking. I see you drinking beer there, Jace. Okay, now if you have you ever seen a bitter beer face? Just get a bitter beer. It's like, well, as soon as Travis Hunter hears his name called, that's the face he's gonna make. Like, what the hell happened to me? So Jaguars, you had so many needs. You're such a bad football team, and you just gave up your future for a dude that will say, you know what, I'm going to play out or else I'm going to make my name. Then I'm going to tell you to trade me because I'm going to hold out. There is no way Travis Hunter lasts more than 3 years in Jacksonville, and that is one of the dumbest trades dumbest trades that I've seen in drafts in at least the last 3 years. Absolutely asinine.
Well, Brad, to make you even more mad, it does
Oh,
not
God.
sound like they're going to take Travis Hunter. It sounds like they're going to take Abdul Carter. This isn't for sure, but from what I'm seeing here, it looks like they're going to go with the trenches. That's the verbiage I was given. They're
Okay,
looking for the trenches.
Okay, well, they want to go with the trenches. Well, guess what? Guess who was always projected to go to him? Oh, I don't know. Mason Graham? Oh, well, gee, okay, fine. Travis Hunter right now is going, woo! Okay, and Abdul Carter's got the better beer face now. All right, so,
Man.
yeah, you compare him with Allen over there. That's great. That's great. But you know what? You got no defensive push up the middle. You're going to have no depth now. This team needed so much, and they just traded it away. You could have had Mason Graham and stayed there. Again, you're the Jaguars.
Yeah, that's
All I wanted to jump in real
crazy.
quick and say is, aren't you guys so happy we spent hours and hours in mock drafts? Because this is exactly what we all had, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that was 4 hours of my life I'd like to have back now. Thanks, Jacksonville. Fucking idiots.
Oh my lord. So, with that being said, do you guys have anything else for Nick before we let him go?
I do. Again, with Shadur Sanders, we just talked about. We don't need to belabor the point that he is not a franchise quarterback for you. And you take one, then you're stuck with him. But what I do have a thing with is with Mike Tomlin, not just a great coach, but a great man. He keeps that locker room. He is ethical. He is great. He doesn't like distractions. Look what he did with Antonio Brown. That wasn't Antonio's fault. He got his melon squashed by Perfect. I mean, that's just the way. That's what I see it as. Is he's never been the same. But you're going to bring, Mike Tomlin's going to bring, an alpha dog is going to bring that circus to town, and he's going to put up with Dion's subtle little tweets all the time because Shadur's not, this and that. And then, if I remember right, Shadur sure threw a lot of his linemen under the bus. Okay, now you guys respectfully don't have any linemen. So when he can't move either, so when he is stuck on his ass, okay, guess what? He's going to start talking. Dion's going to start tweeting. And Tomlin's going to have enough. I don't see Tomlin being able to coach this guy. So that your thoughts.
Well, my counterpoint is George Pickens is a nuisance weekly, and he does it. I think Shador. I think Dion reveres Mike T in a way he doesn't revere anybody else. So there's maybe a little bit of a grace period there that they can work with. And Mike Tomlin and Shador are going to mesh well with their confidence. Because Shador, whatever you think he is confident. He has a bravado about him that he thinks he is better than you. And that is something that the Steelers like. That, some teams are hating that arrogance. The Steelers like that arrogance. And so the Steelers, I mean, listen, it would be fascinating to see how it would fit. I think you're right. There's blow-up potential there. But listen, the Steelers are after Aaron Rodgers, who is maybe the most well-known narcissist in football.
Douchebag. Yep.
Right. So they don't care. So we'll see. But I doubt they're going to take Shador. Not because of his personality or the Dion stuff, but I don't think the football tape matches up with what they want.
Right.
Great stuff.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Well, that's all we got for you, Nick. We appreciate you for joining us as always. You're always welcome back on. Have fun with the draft. It's our Christmas, so take it easy. Don't work too hard, even though I know how it goes.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Have a good day, Nick.
So with that being said, Travis Hunter was the pick. So thankfully they didn't take Abdul Carter, because I would have been like, why the fuck didn't you just trade to 3? Why are you going to 2 to take him? But they take Travis Hunter.
It hasn't happened for me yet.
Well, get on Twitter, James.
If you see Travis Hunter get up and run to the bathroom right after he's on the podium, he's doing it because he is crying his eyes out. He is going to be irrelevant now. Well, he's not. He's too good. But he is going to go through hell. That organization is dysfunctional. Look, okay, fair enough. Look at their coach. How long did it take them to get their coach? How many times did they fuck it up? All right. How many times did they fuck it up? And that's their coach. And now that joke, in my opinion, at least, of a coach is going to take, again, my opinion, the best player in the draft, and he's not going to ruin him, but Travis is going to be gone. 3 years, Adios, motherfuckers. Okay? And guess what? Oh, we got no picks left. Well, what the hell are we doing? Yeah, fuck the Jaguars. That's why they
All I know is, you know what this reminds me of, guys? Speaking of Draft Day, which I watched last night, like I
love
said.
it.
Great movie for being a bad movie. It's still fun.
Ooh, it's a good movie.
They did the same shit to the Jaguars with the youngest GM in the NFL. Think about it. I'm just saying,
Damn.
the parallels are fucking crazy, bro. He got he gave up 2 or 3 second-round picks for the 5th overall pick from the Jaguars while they had the youngest GM in the NFL, which right now they traded from the 5th pick to the 2nd pick with the youngest GM in the NFL. Just saying.
And the GM of Cleveland's happy as fuck.
Yeah, it works
Sonny
out
Weaver,
for everybody.
Sonny Weaver channeled it to the Cleveland GM.
Like,
God.
my Lord.
Oh my God. Yeah, I dude, this, I don't know, because I'm watching the Pistons game. They're down 11 now, by the way. I wasn't even paying attention.
They're down 6 on mine.
They're
Oh
down
no,
11 on
14.
mine.
14. Holy shit. I
Now
lied.
they're down 14.
Damn.
They were just up 5 minutes ago.
Well, you know.
All right. Well, I was going on. That's what happens. Well, I guess I go on long rants. Fuck that. I'm not even watching that shit. Fuck that. I'm turning that shit back. No, I get frustrated easily with this team. Now they're down 20.
Oh my Lord, dude.
Yeah, I'm done.
My stream stopped, and I don't feel like I should refresh it.
I got a update. Sorry to cut you off there, Brad. I just got an update. No. The trades are just getting started, boys. We're just getting fucking started. Better buckle in, baby. What if fucking the Bears trade out now with, I don't know, let's see. Who do you think would want to come get Abdul Carter at this point? That's like in the top 15. I don't see anybody outside of that coming to get him, but
Lions. No,
oh God, yeah.
Detroit, baby.
Yeah, we won't have a pick until my firstborn is 5, or I'm sorry, my granddaughter's 5.
They'll be like, all right, guys, good stream. Wrap it up. We're done.
I don't have a granddaughter, but just think of that. Yeah, let's just give him this pick and this pick and this pick and this pick. No, I'm trying to think here. The Bears would be, I saw a lot of things where if they don't get their guy Genti, I see him with Stewart. I've seen him with Warren a lot. I don't know why. Because they got a good, they got Komet there. That's a good. Saints wouldn't. Saints got too many holes. Panthers, no, they need capital. Jets.
I'm just thinking because Cleveland has a ton of needs. Obviously, they just traded down with Jacksonville. They just got a ton of picks. They still have that 5th pick. They are still 1 pick in front of the Raiders. What if they trade back again so the Bears can trade up for Genti, and then they just get even more draft capital, and they'll still have the 10th pick?
Yeah, I would have thought. I almost thought the Jaguars were going to get Genti, and they could have if they would have stayed at 5.
It looks like Travis Hunter's having a great time right now to be in Jacksonville.
That's it.
Yeah, okay. He looks like he's awesome. I mean, to be fair, I don't think he really wanted to go to Cleveland. I think he's like, shit, now I'm going to somewhere that's warm and nice out all the time. All right, our next guest.
Have you been to Jacksonville? Seriously, have you been to it?
I have, yes. Unfortunately.
Okay, well, at the restaurants, the waitresses have fresh stitches in their head. That's how Hickville it is. All right. Jesus Christ.
With that being said, our next guest has joined us, Mr. John Vogel. Thank you for being here. Thanks for cutting out some of your time on the, such a big day, draft day. Now, my first question is, we all saw what just happened. What are your thoughts on this Travis Hunter to Jacksonville?
Yeah. It's a bold statement, guys. First off, thanks for having me. Thanks for the invite. I'm happy to be here for a few minutes as we discuss this craziness that is about to ensue. We had heard a lot about Jacksonville potentially wanting to move. A lot of people thought it was hogwash. I actually did too. To be honest with you, I didn't think anybody would try to. I didn't think it was real that Cleveland was trying to move down. But this is a statement, and I think that they have full play him both way. He fits into exactly what they're going to want to do, both on offense and defense. And, we'd heard that Cleveland viewed him as a wide receiver, whereas most everybody else viewed him as a corner. Jacksonville needs a corner badly. Looking at the roster right now, their top corner at the moment is Tyson Campbell. who's probably better suited as a 2. You've got a starting corner, and then you can also insert him into the offense, which is not a bad group. They brought in Diami Brown, so he'll probably rotate with him. You got Gabe Davis, you block. Brian Thomas Jr. You can't talk about Jacksonville without talking about him. So this is a statement that was made by the Jacksonville Jaguars. New staff went ahead and moved the pick next year, their first round next year for this as well. So overall, it's a good deal. They got some capital back, and I think it's going to position Cleveland to move back into the first round later tonight.
Yeah, and that's great points, especially with Cleveland trying to move back. I think that's part of why they did this, so they could get some more picks to get that ammunition. Now, the next pick has been announced already, Abdul Carter to the New York Giants. Before we talk about that, I just wanted to say I totally agree. The Travis Hunter thing, I do really like his fit in Jacksonville for the same reasons you said. He probably will be more of a corner there, but he will definitely be their gadget guy, and he will help out a lot on offense, which, I mean, that, in my opinion, makes it worth it to do this trade because you're getting a 2-for-1 at that point. They needed a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, and Travis Hunter is going to be a damn good one to pair with Brian Thomas. So, but with that being said, what are your thoughts on Abdul Carter to the Giants? I know everybody kind of had this penciled in. I kind of thought maybe somebody would move up to get him at this point. But what are your thoughts?
Well, I thought they were going to make a move. I knew that they were looking for an edge rusher because I think I reported it back in February, or maybe it was right around the Combine March, that they were close to a trade with Tennessee, and that's practically come out at this point. Part of that deal was I don't know if I'm skipping or not. I'm sorry if my internet's cutting out. Part of that deal was going to acquire Harold Landry, who had played with Bowen, their defensive coordinator. So I knew that they were interested in an edge rusher, and Abdul Carter is probably a better immediate fit and long-term fit than Harold Landry would have been. So I knew that they were looking in that area. I think that the plan is probably to move on from Kayvon Thibodeau once his contract expires. I don't think I've been particularly impressed with him. And so they're going to go ahead and let him test free agency. And now you've got everybody that plays in the playoffs, that goes deep in the playoffs these days, has to have a deep defensive line, pass rushing rotation. You got 3 really good pass rushers there in New York now that you're going to be able to rotate, mix and match. I would probably assume they're not done through this class. They'll probably add one more, maybe in the 4th or the 5th round. But it makes a lot of sense. Abdul Carter, the best pure edge rusher in this class. He's really exciting, so I think this is a good move for the Giants.
Yeah, for sure, and I totally agree for all the same reasons. Even if they do trade Kayvon, they got 2 really good pass rushers, and even if they keep him, now they have 3 studs that they can kind of rotate in and out. I do think they will trade him. I think that makes the most sense. You might as well at this point. I will say, rumors are the Browns are trying to trade down from number 5 now. So just for the people watching, a little update there. My next question for you, John, is what are your favorite prospects just kind of in this draft overall?
Yeah, I think a lot of my favorite guys are not going to go tonight. So I'll just try to limit the guys to the guys tonight for the sake of viewers and the fact that this is the biggest night of the year for all of these guys. I think my favorite guy in the class that is a first-round dude is probably Shamar Turner out of Texas A&M, or Shamar Stewart, out of Texas A&M. Both of them are Shamars. They throw me off sometimes. He was playing. I came in expecting to see a defensive tackle, a 3-tech guy at 6'5", 290 pounds. And when I put on the tape, I saw him running wide 9 and getting to the quarterback, at least putting a pressure on him. He led the SEC in quarterback hits last year. I believe he had 33. Fantastic when you kind of consider the fact he was playing at 200 pounds in a very rigid pass rushing rule system. So he's dropped a lot of weight, tested really well at the combine, tested really well through all the drills, everything everybody wanted to see. And I think that with him in a new role that's outside of Texas A&M, you're going to see him absolutely explode. And I would point to it. I know that there's a lot of people that don't think that he's that great. just because of the production. He only had 4.5 sacks in 3 years. I think that you kind of saw the same thing with Walter Nolan. At Texas A&M, the production wasn't there. The pressures were, the production wasn't there. As soon as he gets out of that system and he's playing 3-tech, go get the quarterback, he puts up that production at Ole Miss. So I really think the same thing with Shamar here. You get him into a system where he's going to be able to go 5'9", 7-tech a lot, and just get after the quarterback, and you're going to see some really electric results.
Yeah, and I totally agree. Shamar is one of my favorites as well. I've said that many times on this show. I think he's definitely worth a top 10 selection. I don't really see how he makes it past the Bears personally. But with that being said, the number 4 pick is in. The Patriots have selected Will Campbell out of LSU. The left tackle, kind of the lock we all thought it would be. John, let me ask, what are your thoughts on the tackle draft this year? I know there's kind of mixed reviews on it. I know a lot of people have Will Campbell number 1. A lot of people have Amron Membao. What are your thoughts on that? The top, 3 or 4 guys.
I thought Will Campbell's the best one. I think Kelvin Banks is really good too, out of Texas. And I like him a little bit better than I like Membu. I think Membu might be better suited playing right guard as opposed to right tackle. He's a little bit more of a power guy that's going to get downhill. He's got good athletic ability to pull. So with Campbell, I thought Nick Saban hit it in the pre-draft show really well with him. Hey, the short arm concerns, it never bothered him while he was at LSU. And he played some great edge rushers down at LSU. And I think that it was easy to nitpick because he's such an outlier just from the way that he plays, the technique that he plays with, the what's a good way? He looks so stiff and he looks so upright at times, but you watch him play and he doesn't give up. He doesn't surrender ground. He holds up. He's quick enough against those speed rushers. So I think that I figured the Patriots would go that route with him. It makes sense. They need a left tackle. They want to protect Drake May for the future. Mike Vrabel's a big guy that's really concerned about the trenches 100% of the time, and they put a large emphasis on it. So yeah, that's perfectly expected, and I think it's a really good pick.
For sure, I agree. I'm a little bit bigger fan of Membu than you are, but I think that's just because I saw his athletic testing, and I already kind of liked him quite a bit. So it moved him up my board a little bit there, but totally understand why you'd like Campbell. So my next question for you is Mason Graham. Okay, we've heard a lot of mixed stuff on him. What are your thoughts? Because I know there's a lot of stuff with like his short arms, this and that. So what do you think about him as a prospect in general?
I thought Jacksonville might sit at 5 and take him. I realized that wasn't going to happen as soon as I saw him with who the woman that used to be on NFL Network is with FanDuel now. Why can't I think of her name? Adam, who I'm talking about?
Kay Adams?
Jada Jill. Wow. Yeah, thank you, Kay. I wanted to say Amy. I was like, that's this actress. I'm both dyslexic if you can't tell. So yeah, Brett. So as soon as I heard he walked into his meeting and imitated Coach Owen, that came out today that he walked in there and imitated the Duval that Cohen went viral for. I knew that wasn't going to happen. You can't have a guy like that in the locker room with that kind of attitude toward the head coach straight up. It's not a bad thing that he did it. It's just more so the point. If you're trying to build a culture, you don't want someone coming in there that's going to, potentially undermine the head coach, and that's going to be something that's going to put you off. But from a playing standpoint, he's really interesting because he's really kind of average from an athletic standpoint, but he created a lot of plays. I think that's part of the reason you didn't see him do any testing during this pre-draft cycles because he was going to put up average numbers. So I think that's probably the reason why a lot of teams, we've heard the reports that he's not a guy that is as straight up consensus as the media has him. He's been down. I like Walter Nolan a little bit better than him just because I think Nolan can do a little bit more. And it has a little more game, but he's going to bring power. He's going to be a little bit more of a two than he's going to be a gap shooter. And ultimately, I think he'll be a very solid piece on a defensive line somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. And I can't really disagree with too much of that. I mean, honestly, watching Michigan, because I'm a Michigan fan, watching them throughout the season, like, I liked Kenneth Grant a little bit more for his upside. I mean, he just has all the traits that you really want. He's got, upper echelon athleticism for that, the nose tackle spot. So I just kind of would have, if you're asking me if I got to pick Mason Graham at 5 or I can get Kenneth Grant at, 20 something, I'm definitely taking Grant in that scenario. So totally understand where you're coming from. Now,
Yeah.
I want to open this up to the panel. If anybody has questions, James, I'll let you go first if you've got anything for John today.
Unfortunately, not to be lame, but I don't have any questions.
That's
So,
valid.
Brad. Sorry.
I think that now you're going to see Graham drop. I think I maybe might see him drop out of the top 10 because of those things. But I do want to say in his defense, he got double teamed a shit ton this past year. He really did, and that did make Grant look.
Mhm.
I mean, and Grant's a hell of a player. I'd love him to be on the Lions, but I think that really showed off, what Grant can do. So I do think that Graham, he did get double teamed. I always thought it was a bit high myself. He seems more like just like a grunt player. I don't think he's a good in the trenches guy. He's not a glue guy. He's better than that. But he's not a guy that at 5 is going to be like, wow, dude, this guy's making a difference. I don't see him with box office material. I just don't. But the question I did have was in terms of depth in this whole draft. I personally don't think that it's a barely above average draft. I might even go as far to saying it's an average draft. I could be wrong. I think we just already seen the real blue chips come off the board. And I think there's, I think almost, is there a big difference between a 2 second round this year, maybe high second round, but a second round and even a late 3rd, late 4th round type of player, where I think you could behoove yourself moving down, and still getting the same guys and at least getting more capital, getting guys that could be players. For instance, the Lions, they're talking about trading down with Cleveland. Let's say they do trade down. What if they traded down again, pick up a couple, say they get 2 third rounders, maybe 3 third rounders, and they get another 4? I don't think there's that much difference there. And maybe you get a Sawyer, maybe you get a Scatterboo. Maybe you start off with a JT to a guy from Ohio State. But to wrap it up, not to belabor too long, as far as the draft talent wise, and then do you see second round, almost even like 4th round, talent kind of, they're all blending in the same?
So what I kind of see is from 5 to 60 is really muddled. And then from 60 to 120 muddled. So I think you're on to a point. Now, most classes, it's not that stark, right, with the muddling. The tiers aren't nearly that big. So while it lacks the blue chip top end guys that you're talking about, I personally think that, Stork will be one of those guys that when we look back on this draft 5, we're going to wonder how he wasn't taken higher than he was. I think that Grace Zabel could be a guy as well that we sit back and go, how did he get to the back end of the first round? Assuming that's where he ends up going. So there's going to be a few guys like that are going to just end up in the right situation and pop. But yeah, I think that you're onto something with the point that the depth in this class is super muddled. It is a deep class in terms of guys that are going to be players, but it's lacking a lot of top end talent, and that's why I think so many people kind of shit on this class the entire time that we've been going through the pre-draft cycle, is because it lacks the top end people that we normally are accustomed to seeing. So yeah, if you're picking 10 tonight like the Bears or 8 like the Panthers, you're in a really bad spot, because you can move back and get somebody that's going to be very equal at 20 or 15 or even 30 to who you were going to get at 8.
Yeah. Last year's draft, I think Mason Graham would have gone in the 20s, 20s to low 20s.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I'm saying. Is after Carter, it's like you talk about a drop off in the deep end. I mean, it's Yeah, a lot of these guys you're going to see. I love Stewart, by the way. A lot of these guys you're going to see, you're going to say, man, last year's draft, he would have been second round, So, real quick, I don't want to go off on a tangent with Sanders again. Hall of Fame, Colorado University quarterback Sanders. It's not even a question. It's not even a question. He's not a first round pick, and anybody who would do it, go to the methadone clinic, get off the crack pipe. So I think this draft is bad. I'm just going to be honest. This is a bad draft. So, yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth. I've gone back and forth on Sanders because, I think the tape kind of says third round. You attach the Sanders name to him, and I think that goes up. But I think also, I've really come around on Jackson Dart. I've got a really good friend, Mark Gorsak, who he'll tell you straight up that he's gotten quarterbacks wrong before. But typically, when he's high on a guy and I'm not, he's usually right. C.J. Stroud a couple of years ago, I had some concerns with, and I wasn't as excited about him, and he straightened me up on that and helped me not look like as much of an idiot. But he really liked Dart, and the more I've listened, the more that I watched him, the more that I paid attention, the more I kind of came around to him. I think that he might be the second best quarterback in this class. But for Sanders, it's tough, man, because he's probably going to have a Jacoby Brissett type career where he's going to be a fringe starter, and there'll be certain that he'll start all 17 games and no one will want to commit to him completely. And that's not even considering the circus that he's going to bring to a locker room. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
There about that before.
Wow.
Yeah, Graham. Well, look at that.
Yep, I was going to say, as we were talking, Mason Graham was picked literally, Brad, as you said the words. Mason Graham's like a 20. They picked him right then. And then also, Ashton Jeanty is a Las Vegas Raider. We all kind of saw that coming. It literally was like the Mason Graham pick came in, and 30 seconds later, Jeanty. So the Raiders were very excited to turn this pick in.
Well, Pete Carroll is spry for an old guy, so he went drooling. He got Marshawn Lynch.
Right, that's exactly what I was thinking. He rebuilt his Seahawks. If only they had a defense. So, no, my last question for you, John, is what are your thoughts on Ashton Jeanty? I know everybody's just like, he is a stud, he's the best. But, it's always nice to get a different perspective. So, what are your thoughts on him as a prospect?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. When coming into the season, he was one of those guys that kind of – there's a lot of draft analysts that they come into the year, the Bledsoe, grades get leaked, and all of a sudden they're talking about the guys that are super highly graded on Bledsoe. And Jeanty was one of those guys that was like, you're talking about him because he has the second-round grade on Bledsoe. I know what you're doing there. Now, I had watched him, and I thought he was good. I wasn't super excited about him. I liked Singleton at Penn State. I was really surprised he went back to school. But it was that Oregon game that sold me on him because he had – one of the questions I had about him was as a receiver. I knew that he was okay as a pass blocker. I knew he could run. Kind of reminds me of Frank Gore as a runner. And it was – they lined him up out wide. I think it was in the third quarter, probably about 5 minutes to go. He runs a go ball, and Madison put him a ball that was right on the sideline. He didn't come down with it in bounds, but he had a defender draped all over him. He went up. He makes the catch, comes down with the ball in his hands. And I'm like, okay, he can catch too because I just saw it. And he obviously put up a little more production there this year than he had previously. But that was the last question I needed answered, where I was like, okay, he's that kind of guy. But I think he's a Frank Gore kind of runner. He's an outlier because at his body type, which is just under 5'9", 216 pounds, we don't see guys run as fast as he can. And he's going to be really, really difficult to stop. Both between he can do tackles, he can be a gap scheme runner, he can be an outside zone runner. Great field vision. The contact balance is really second to none. He's going to be a really good back. I don't know if you get the 15, 20-year career Frank Gore with him, I want more of an Ezekiel Elliott kind of career because of the punishment he's already taken, but he's absolutely legitimate.
It's good.
For sure, and I totally agree with that. Ashton Gianti is probably I don't know if I would rank him over Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs, but he's definitely right neck and neck, if not right over him. It's really tough there.
Yeah.
Because it's like them, Saquon, and then maybe like Christian McCaffrey are like the top 5, running back prospects we've seen in the past like decade. So absolute beast. Again, John, thank you for joining us. It was a great time. I know it's draft day, so go ahead and enjoy yourself. Don't work too hard, but I know how this day can get. So we appreciate you for coming on, and anytime you're willing to come back on, we'd love to have you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot.
So, lots happened, boys. A lot has happened.
Yeah,
We have gotten a trade. We have gotten Mason Graham to the Browns, Ashton Gianti to the Raiders. Not too much has really changed in terms of what pick these guys were going to be picked at. If you think about it, it's the same mock we had in exact order. So,
yeah, you're right. No, hey, you guys are like way ahead of me because I'm watching it. I turned it back to the Pistons. They're only down 6 now.
Yeah.
But I'm watching it on. I got YouTube TV and I'm watching it on the NFL Network.
Yeah.
And you guys are pretty ahead of me. Is there a reason?
I have updates on my phone, so I'm getting messages for every pick.
Yeah,
right,
right now they're saying the Raiders pick is in. They haven't announced it yet.
They had just announced it on mine. Ashton Gianti's walking
Okay.
up to the podium right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Commissioner's
Okay.
at the
So
podium
we're all
for me.
set.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we're all on the same
I saw it
page on the
5 minutes
TVs.
ago
Yeah.
on X.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, but that's the thing. Got to give it to him while
4
we're
minutes
here.
ago.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
One
So
thing I wanted to say.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
As I was saying with how I like having an abundance of good things like the D line all across the board and whatnot, I am a bigger fan of Mason Graham than you guys are. I do think he was a top 5 player in this draft, and I will say probably 5th. But I do think he was a top 5 player in this draft, and him next to Myles Garrett is going to be a good thing for the Cleveland Browns fans. And not only that, but you get a pretty damn good all-around D tackle because, as you guys were saying, I can't remember which one of you, to be honest, said it, but he is an average athlete. He's just a damn good football player. He's not going to wow you. He's not going to run a 40 or do a cone drill that you're like, oh shit, look at that guy. But he'll suit up and punch you in the mouth and beat you. And to get him, to put him next to Myles Garrett and add another 2nd-round pick and another 1st-round pick next year, that is an A+ for the Browns right there. I mean, they needed a fuck ton of stuff, but that is a hell of a start for the day.
Yeah,
No,
I totally agree with you, James.
Yeah.
The Jets have picked Armand Membu. Knew that was going to happen. Pretty much everybody knew that was going to happen. But yeah, I totally agree with you.
Can we come back at pick 20 because we already have like the first,
No shit, we're 7 for 7 now. The things have changed. We're 7 for fucking 7.
Straight down the board, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
The teams, it's all right. The exact pick,
No, dude, fuck it.
I totally agree with you, James. I mean, I don't love Mason Graham. Like I said, I personally just like the value of a Kenneth Grant later in the first than I would like picking him. But would I be mad at it? No. And I totally agree with your point on Myles Garrett and Mason Graham is a damn good D-line. And I mean, they needed interior D-line help for a while now. So he should probably shore that up for them. And he'll be a space eater at worst. You know what I mean? So he'll definitely eat up some blocks. But with that being said, Brad, it seemed like you had something to say there.
No, I don't want to. It will definitely help the Browns. But back to my point is Graham at 5. I mean, it's going to help the Browns, but it's the 5th pick. I mean, when you're in the 5th pick, guys, you're looking at. Let me James, do some homework for me. Give me the top 10 picks of last year, okay? And then maybe when we get to 10, and then maybe when we get to 10, I'd like to just, hell, give us the first 20. There you go. And I just want to compare and contrast this kind of talent because this Mason Graham to me is not. It just isn't, and this is But I was just a little taken back by all this. I don't think the talent's good in this draft. I'd love to see the Pistons almost being facetious, but almost trade out of the second round too. I mean, give me 8 third-round picks. Okay, you know.
For
But
sure,
back
and
to,
I totally agree with you there.
And back to Jacksonville. I get it with Hunter 2-for-1, and I get it. And of course, he looked happy. I want to see how happy he is after one season, though. But look at what they freaking gave up. They've got. I mean, it's ludicrous. That's the kind of haul you give if you're, let's say, at 10 or 11 for some reason, and you're still on like you got your quarterback hurt, so you drop to 10 or 11, and then if this one guy is going to bring you back. I don't know. I can't. I'm looking at it. I'm going. It reminds me of the freaking Pro Football Network thing we did, where the drafts were ludicrous. Give me this and this and this and this.
I mean, I do get what you're saying, but I do have to disagree, man. The first next year, I don't love it, right? They gave up a second, a first, and all. But it's like, think about it. Like, do you remember what the Niners had to give up to get from, like, I think it was like 11 to 3 or 10 to 3? Like, they had to give up 3 first-round picks. So
who'd they take, though?
Fucking Trey Lance. Nobody. That's what I'm saying.
The Jaguars did.
But I'm saying Travis Hunter is a way better player than Trey Lance ever could imagine.
100%.
So if we're just thinking, and also positional value, man, they need a corner, they need a wide receiver. They just got both with one pick. If you think about it that way, okay, they could have taken Tet McMillan with the 5th pick or whatever, and then taken, I don't know, a corner with their second rounder. They just did that with one guy who's probably better than both of those guys that they would have drafted at either spot. Now, the problem, of course, is how much can you play him? That becomes the real issue, and that's something we'll see over his career and how that, is a disadvantage or an advantage. But I do think it's not a terrible... Yeah, I agree. I just don't think it's a terrible trade. Would I do it? I probably wouldn't, just because there are too many question marks. But that young GM wanted to make a splash, I guess. I mean,
he sure did.
It's one of those things. I can't really hate on him too much. But also, I just got a Travis Hunter.
Fucking young.
Or no, James Gladstone.
No, that's young.
Yeah, he's 34. So
I got shoes older than him.
Oh, that's why he wanted to trade his picks. He's got to get to bed.
Type shit. True.
After bedtime.
Well, you know what? You said he made a splash. He did a cannonball in the kiddie pool. He made a splash, but he's gonna break his neck.
So I just got a tweet sent to me that completely gave me a heart attack for a second. Ari Myrov, okay, I'm sure you guys can't read that. It says, the Lions, first pick. I'm like, what? And then they say, under Dan Campbell was Penei Sewell, who became their starting right tackle. Now Aaron Glenn's first pick is, I'm like, motherfucker, you got me. They had me totally. I was like, what did we do?
Yeah.
Nothing yet.
It
I would say thankfully.
It was
there
Pete
is
Carroll
no one
thing.
that I want to trade up for.
Yeah. Everybody was biting on that Pete Carroll thing. It's like, dude, why would he ever even give a smattering of a hint? He just...
I mean, think about it. Ash, smoke. I mean, Ashton Gianti. But you said... But think about it. Ashton Gianti.
No, I get it.
He could have been alluding to it in a way.
No, you're right. I see that point now too. But this is what I love about Pete Carroll. The motherfucker's 73 years old. He's just sitting back going, I've done so much of this shit. This is just fun. I'm just having so much fun, and I think we're still gonna win. He ain't all. I mean, he ain't all like, he's just like, like uncle, like an old uncle just sitting back and go, just go ahead and play. Give me another beer. Yeah.
Hey, it's me.
Yeah, I mean, Pete Carroll is he's just going to be enjoyable. I used to hate him, especially when it was Seattle, but now I get to enjoy him. I
hated him at USC. I do like him now.
Yeah, because he's in another division and he just looks like he's having fun. He's like, fuck it. Let Tom Brady do all the fucking work, and I'll just go out and coach the team on Sundays.
Okay, so the Giants just now accepted Kayvon Thibodeau's 5th-year option and said they will not trade him.
Oh, I thought,
I was
okay.
about to
I was
say,
like,
I heard a lot of if they take Abdul Carter, that they would trade him. So
Yeah.
interesting.
My question now is, are they trading Burns? Think about it. He's getting paid, baby, and he really has not been that great for them. You
no, you
know,
know what? I mean, how good was he in his last year in Carolina? So, I mean, I
double
don't know. I'm
digit
not being,
sacks. He wasn't like he was. I think he had like, I don't know, maybe 14 or something around there. It
oh, that's
wasn't
pretty good.
insane, but he was
That's
solid.
pretty good
Yeah,
for that team. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
he's what I would say is kind of like Ndamukong, and I know he didn't play on the inside, but Ndamukong Suh back in the day on the Lions. Like he's a really good
Yeah.
player when he was in Carolina, but he was like one of three good players they had, and that was it.
right.
Hey, what did you look up that 20 pick draft last year compared? You know,
Yes.
Speaking of the Panthers, before we get into that, they just
Yeah.
drafted. You ready for this, Brad? You called it. Tet McMillan. Carolina Panthers just drafted Tet McMillan with
Yeah.
the
Well,
8th overall pick. Not that
I
surprising.
mean, it
I
got
told you
Bryce
he was
Young.
probably the number one receiver, not named Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I think most people would agree.
Yeah, they got. I mean, they got a good running back, and their line's decent. Decent. They got so many holes to fill. But you know what? Bryce Young needs some weapons. I think we've seen that, and he started to come around at the end of last year. So I think his confidence is back. But he's the type of quarterback where you got to have some weapons for this dude, because I don't think he takes it all on by himself.
For sure. With that being said, our next guest has joined us, Mr. Anthony Russo. Tell me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. But thank you for joining us. First thing, your Jets just made their pick. What are your initial thoughts on Armand Membu to the New York Jets?
What's going on, guys?
Oh, looks like we lost you.
What I'm feeling right now?
Oh, there we go.
You got me?
Yeah, you're good.
You guys hear me? Okay. Yeah. So sigh of relief. I was waiting for the Jets to screw it up, but they didn't. Armand Membu's a great pick. Fills a big need. We needed a right tackle, and I think he's a really solid player. So, yeah. After all the craziness of the top five, the Jets kept it simple, and I'm happy.
Yeah, and I've always been a fan of Membu throughout this process. You know, he was a little bit farther down my list at tackle until he tested, and his numbers were completely, through the roof. So I agree the Jets got a really good player. My other question for you is, what would have been your definition of screwing this up? I'm assuming a tight end, because I know that was a lot of the the chatter there.
So tight end, I would say right tackle and tight end are the two biggest needs on the Jets right now. I would have been fine with Tyler Warren. It wouldn't have been. I prefer Membu over Warren, so I'm glad that's the route. My definition of screwing it up, well, it would have been if quarterback was in the conversation, which it doesn't seem like it was. But if that was Shador or Jackson Dart, I wouldn't be on this stream right now. I would have broken my computer and didn't hear from me for a while. I saw Jahdae Barron was getting thrown around, and I like Jahdae Barron, but at 7 for this Jets team just did not make any kind of sense to me. And I get like Aaron Glenn would love to coach him, and I'm sure would be great for him, but just again with the needs that the Jets have and the roster as constructed, I wouldn't have been a fan of that pick at all. So I think given what the board was at 7, Membu was probably like at least a top 3, if not the best pick that they could have made, like one of the better ones for sure.
Yeah, for sure, and I would totally agree. You know, like you said, tackle and tight end are two of their biggest needs. Personally, I just don't love the idea of taking a tight end this early. Maybe it's just T.J. Hawkinson PTSD. I mean, or Eric Ebron. I love Hawkinson. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't seem to work out here in Detroit. We traded him after all. But Eric Ebron was an absolute bust. So we have had great. We have not had a great time.
There's a flashback I never wanted to see or hear again. Aaron Donald's out there, but fuck it, we'll take a tight end.
That can't catch or block. Sweet.
I can't. It's too soon. Still too soon.
The Brock Bowers thing, I think, is really like we need to relax. Like Brock, great, obviously great player, broke records, transcendent player for the Raiders. Like, I'm not disputing any of that. Brock Bowers is a one of one. Like, no, I don't expect Tyler Warren to be a Brock Bowers. I don't expect Colson Loveland to be a Brock Bowers. It's like this idea that like Brock Bowers has like broken the glass ceiling of like, oh well, now we can take tight ends in the top 10. Look what Brock Bowers did. It's like, nah, whoa. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. And again, I'm a Tyler Warren fan. I do think he's actually one of the better players in this draft, but to like automatically assume now like tight end is worthy of like a top 7 pick is maybe a little gun. There's a word I'm trying to, but yeah, crazy. We'll say.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree there. Now, my next question is, obviously there's some Lions-Jets connections here. You guys took our defensive coordinator this offseason. My question for you is, how are you feeling about Glenn? Do you like it? Do you love it? Are you indifferent? What are your feelings right now?
So I like Glenn. I think Glenn as a coach is a very good coach. I think he did a really good job with the Lions defense, especially, I think people almost forget how many injuries your defense had this past season. Like, obviously, like, Aiden Hutchinson was the big one, but that front seven was littered with bad injuries to good players. And yet they still, they went, I think they wound up going as far as they were going to go, given the circumstances of that. So Aaron Glenn did a really good job. I think he's got the player background, obviously, which is nice. It seems like players like to play for him, which is a big thing. So I think he can be a very good head coach. I am more worried just about Woody Johnson is just Woody Johnson. He carries his own problems. The GM we hired, I'm not as sold on yet, but we'll see how this draft goes, and maybe he'll change my mind on that. I also wanted the Jets to get an offensive coach. I just feel like the Adam Gase experiment failed so miserably, and like that's our PTSD now. Is like, well, it was so bad we can't hire an offensive coach. It's like, we should do that, because you'll notice a lot of teams that have an offensive coach are the ones that are going far in the playoffs. So I like Aaron Glenn, but I'm still worried that the Jets' offense is just not going to go anywhere. Like, it hasn't gone for literally 20 years now. So.
Yeah, for sure. And that works perfectly into my next question, which I will ask after I announce this pick. The Saints have taken tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. For out of Texas with the 9th pick, which I think that's a good pick. They do need offensive line help. I did think that they would probably go defensive line, though, just with where they're at, but can't be wrong with the Kelvin Banks. But my question for you is, you mentioned the Jets offense, right? So it's kind of it's a layered question with this one. First one is, how do you feel about Justin Fields just in general? Give him a 2-year deal. I think was it $20 million a year, I believe. And then my second question is, how would you have felt? Which I know this is not possible at this point, but how would you have felt if the Jets did select Ashton Genty and try to trade Breece Hall?
So on Justin Fields, I'm optimistic. I'm not expecting Justin Fields to be our franchise quarterback for the next decade or whatever. I think the goal of Justin Fields, which I think is smart, is we got him on a 2-year deal. Bring him in, have a guy that can use. We saw him win games in Pittsburgh, right? Obviously, he then got replaced by Russell Wilson, but he was capable of winning games and playing fairly well when he had the pieces around him. So you know that he can at least like hold it together. This Jets team, whoever would have been the quarterback this year, based on the options that were out there, it's not a Super Bowl team. Like this roster is not a championship roster, regardless of who's at the quarterback position. So, I think when you bring in a guy like Justin Fields, who can be a bridge quarterback, but also gives you some upside, maybe he does wind up being a solid starter in a year or two with Tanner Engstrom. It's possible. I'm not like but quarterbacks than the group that we have in this class. As for Ashton Genty, and before I say this, I will acknowledge Ashton Genty is one of my favorite players in this draft. He's third or fourth on my board. I forget where he wound up. I think he wound up fourth. But top 5 player in the class. Not denying the talent, but if the Jets would have used the 7th pick on him and not address the other needs that I talked about, tackle, tight end, we need help in like the interior D-line next to Quinnen, whatever. But like Ashton Genty, great player, but like you can't use the 7th overall pick on that when you have Breece Hall. Like, what are you gonna do? Then you're gonna trade Breece Hall, get whatever you get for him, but you didn't really solve anything. You kind of just like you created a problem that didn't exist and then filled it with a great player. But like you already have a great running back. Breece Hall can be a top 10 running back easily when he's healthy. So, you already have that. Why then use a top 10 pick on a running back when you have these other needs? I wouldn't have cared for that if that was actually in the cards.
Yeah, for sure, which I totally understand. I asked because I saw some report of Ashton Genty possibly being, and I was just like, why? Or no, it was Breece Hall was possibly on the trade block, and I was like, are they going to take Genty? Is that the idea here? I was just very confused by that. So my next question for you is about Aaron Rodgers, okay? I kind of want to just know the perspective of a Jets fan, right? Because I only watched maybe 2 or 3 Jets games last year, so I just want to know, how did you feel about it? How did you feel when they let him go? What are your thoughts? Before we get to that, oh my fucking God, boys. The Bears just picked Colston Loveland, the tight end for Michigan, at number 10.
Oh, yeah, Ben Johnson, the genius. Oh, he's taking every one of Detroit's ideas. He's a fucking he's a fraud. He's a fucking fraud.
When I said, pending on the board, like I said, he wasn't a very top of my list or anything like that.
Oh my God.
But when I said, if the board falls a certain way, I would take Colston Loveland at 28. You guys laughed at me. I wanted a top 10 talent, just saying.
well,
No, this is crap. No. Can we please start with saying, first mistake, Ben Johnson, first mistake. You are a product of Dan Campbell, okay? You are nothing, all right? You're the most overrated offensive coordinator I have ever seen because Campbell gave you the trick plays, okay? You took Loveland. Here it starts. Guess what? Bears didn't win the offseason, all right? They didn't win it. Yeah,
all I know is I was very happy when, unfortunately, I had to go let my dog out. I heard him running at the top of my stairs. Sorry about missing out on
You're good.
Most of that. But when I came back and saw Saints took Banks, I got super happy because I'm like, shit, I just did not want the Bears to add even more to their O-line after trading for Tony and Jonah Jackson.
I was worried they were going to take Jalen Walker.
Yeah. I personally am sitting here.
That, but good point.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is best case scenario for us Lions fans watching the Bears. I'm just saying they could have taken they couldn't have taken Genty here, but everybody thought they were going to trade up for him. That would have sucked for us because he is a damn good player. They could have taken Walker or Shamar Stewart or anybody on the defensive line, Michael Williams, to help out. They didn't do that. They opt for the receiving tight end, which he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of Colston Loveland, but Man, that's tough. And the Niners just took Michael Williams, speaking of him. So good pick there. No tackle. You called it. You called it. I'll give it to you. No tackles on the board. Really worth the pick there. So things are happening here. So back to you, Anthony. What are your
sorry, we
thoughts
didn't mean
on
to
Aaron
blow up.
Rodgers?
We
Yeah,
just
sorry
hate
about that,
Chicago.
yeah.
We hate Chicago here. So.
I get it. I totally get it. I will say too, the fact that Colson Loveland went before Tyler Warren is kind of crazy to me. And now, I mean, it feels like Tyler Warren is destined for Indianapolis at this point. If he makes it past 12 and 13 here. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Grueling is probably the word I would use to describe the past 2 years. I mean, like torn Achilles week 1. That's just that just is what it is. There's nothing. That's just God laughing at us.
Not you guys. I'm laughing at Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I like
God's
the
laughing at
Jets.
Rodgers. Yeah, I try to like them, but they make it really hard. But yeah, this past year, I do not think like he was the sole reason that we were picking 7th overall. But that said, I think it was abundantly clear that the Jets needed to move on from him. And I would have said that even before like the stuff came out about like, Aaron Rodgers not being happy with how like he got told by Aaron Glenn like they were going in a different direction, whatever. Aaron Rodgers is way too much of a cult of personality, we'll say. Aaron Glenn would never have put up with that as his starting quarterback. And like, there's no reason to, because like I said before, this team is not a Super Bowl. Like when we got Aaron Rodgers, it was with the belief that he could take a team that was a playoff roster and elevate it to Super Bowl contender. That obviously did not happen. I think what is also been, brought to light is not only is Aaron Rodgers just done, but also this roster's not a playoff roster. It's got good players. We have, Quinnen and Sauce and Brees and Garrett. Good players, great players. But as constructed all together, it's not close to, what the Eagles had, what the Lions have. Like, we're not there. So take the time to build up the roster again is what my approach would be, and what I hope is the new approach for the new regime. And Aaron Rodgers would get in the way of doing that in several different ways. So I am perfectly happy with him not being a part of this team. And, good luck to Pittsburgh or wherever he winds up. He should just retire.
Retirement home.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. And that's good stuff. I like the Jets' perspective on that because I'm personally not totally sold that he's completely cooked. I still think he could be a bridge quarterback, similar to like a Kirk Cousins last year, which I think he'd be a little bit better even than Kirk was last year, but I might be, insane. I don't know. But with that being said, Anthony, we appreciate you for joining us. As always, doors always open if you ever want to come back. It's always great talking football. And of course, draft day is a crazy day, so it's always great to have you on. Again, we appreciate you for coming.
Having me. Yeah, send me the invite. Hey, whenever you want to have me. Yeah, and this is a hell of a time, and it's only going to get crazier from this point on, I bet. So.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Take it easy, man. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
I
All
wanna
right,
jump
well-
in right away with Michael Williams to the 49ers. Just saying.
Hey, look, man. You weren't wrong, but you weren't necessarily right because there wasn't a tackle left. Okay? If Kelvin Banks was there, I think they take him still. but he wasn't. So
Probably, but I took him over Bigson in at least that first mock.
yeah,
But I
you
do
were
agree,
right.
they might have
Yeah,
took him.
you
They might
saw
have
that.
taken him if he
You
was
saw
there.
that before, and really anybody did, because I didn't really see Michael Williams getting mocked there that often. You know what I mean? It seemed
I
more.
never saw him getting mocked there. I just saw the 49ers are a team that often takes best player available. And with the 11th pick in most mocks, he was one of the best players available. And
Mhm.
like I said, I love the overloading at one position. Because, yeah, it's hard as hell to stop Nick Bosa. But how the hell do you stop Nick Bosa and Michael Williams?
Yeah.
Like,
And with that being said, our next guest has joined us, Mr. and tell me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, Dave Heilman from SGPN Network.
Nailed it.
Beautiful. Thank you for being here. First off, you know, this has been a crazy night so far. We're just kind of going through things as they happen. My first question for you today is what is your favorite pick so far? If you can just pick a couple that you just really enjoyed.
Yeah. I mean, from if you're a football fan, you're gonna like some of the trenches and some of the lineman stuff. I love the Membo fit for the Jets. I've had that one all along. I thought that was a really good fit, and it just says what the Jets are wanting to do. They got Justin Fields. They're gonna want to run the ball. We'll see if Brees Hall gets moved or not. But you look at someone that Penei Sewell type of player for that right side, in that Aaron Glenn new system. So I like that pick a lot. I think that was a good one.
Yeah, me too. I personally also had that pretty much for weeks now. Felt like the most obvious pick for them, and they just really needed to shore up the O line. It seemed like they were too old and not good enough there last year. So, and obviously grabbing Olu last year really helped, but they still needed some help there. So,
Well, and you also have to look at kind of like there's not a lot of tackles, so you take one while you can. There's a whole bunch of D tackles. There's a whole bunch of running backs. There's some good tight ends later. I mean, you can get Mason Taylor day 2 instead of Tyler Warren day 1. You're not going to get someone equivalent or equal to Membu day 2. So I do look at that when you're looking at like how are you going to pair your draft, and some of these weaker positions like tackle. Kelvin Banks is probably not a top 10 tackle, but because it's such a weak class, he's a top 10 tackle. So.
yeah, for sure, and I totally agree with that. Like we've talked about that many times on the show. Like this draft is pretty average. There's the top 2, I would say, or top 3. I would put Genty up there. Hunter, Carter, Genty. After that, I know a lot of people put Cam Ward up there. I just don't personally see him as a top tier quarterback prospect. I mean, he got picked number 1, but in draft classes prior years, I don't think he's even a top 5 guy. So. With that being said, what are your thoughts? Because I know you're a big fantasy guy. So, what are your thoughts fantasy wise on the offensive weapons we've seen with Cam Ward, Genty, and McMillan going so far?
Yeah,
Hunter.
and back to Cam Ward, I've never seen a first overall pick have like the lowlights were shown. I've never seen that. Like they showed the highlights and then they showed him throwing like I was like, this is not good. But Cam Ward is fun, and that's it's good for Calvin Ridley. Will Levis had his moments and stuff like that, but Cam Ward could be he's could be a Jameis Winston type where he's maybe better for fantasy than he is for
Great comparison.
reality. I appreciate that.
Great comparison.
And then Genty, you're looking at that Chip Kelly offense going, okay, like that could be really fun for fantasy. I did post on Dynasty Trade Calculator, is this move the needle up, down, or stay the same? It's not going to be a great offense, so maybe the TD opportunities aren't as high, but I think you're looking at, like, if they're going to take him as high as they did, the 6th overall pick, he's going to get a lot of action. And then Tet McMillan, that's good for Tet because he's going to be the number 1, obviously, on the offense. And then you got Bryce Young, so far so good. And then Colson Loveland, I just cashed on that. I had Loveland as the number 1 tight end off the board. Bears getting Loveland. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, personally, that Loveland one shocked me to the Bears. I mean, as a Lions fan, we all rejoiced live on the pod. Like, it was like, oh, sweet, we don't got to worry about Ashton Genty or Shamar Stewart or Jalen Walker. Like, cool, that works for me. You got a guy who might catch 5 passes a game for you. Great, and that's on his best day, I think. Like, they have a lot of weapons over there now in Chicago, which is always good, for the offense. But speaking in fantasy terms, it's not that good when it comes to fantasy because now you got another guy to feed.
Yeah, and I'm a big Daniel Jeremiah guy, so I've been listening to him throughout the process, and he said on his media call before the combine that like he had grades on Loveland and Warren the same, and then his media call this week he said, don't be surprised if Loveland goes ahead of Warren, and it's just again it's a fit thing. It's not necessarily that everybody thinks that Loveland's better than him. It's a fit, and you can see the same thing with Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart where I think Jackson Dart's going to go ahead of Sanders. And it's just going to be a fit. Like, there might be teams that need a quarterback, like the Giants and the Browns, that play in bad weather, tough, conferences. They got one guy with a stronger arm, a bigger guy, and Jackson Dart fits that build a lot better for them, where, like, Sanders fits more of, like, the Saints and some of these, teams that are playing in warmer weather in a dome. Same with Loveland. Like maybe that was just a better fit for Ben Johnson because he's more of a Laporta type.
Yeah, for sure, and that's a really good point. I personally had Loveland over Warren as a prospect just because, like, I think a lot of people forgot what Loveland was capable of last season because of the quarterback play. But the year before, man, he was the best tight end. Like, I mean, I guess Brock Bowers, was still there, but he got drafted last year, so I don't necessarily put him on that same list. But I think he was the number one guy this year. I love Warren, but the one time I watched him live, he had a good game, but I just didn't see all these top tier traits that everybody was talking about, especially in the blocking game. I mean, he's a good blocker, but nothing elite, I don't think there. So
yeah, it's hard whether you're looking at the box score or even just the tape off of 1 year going, well, Loveland wasn't that well. He was hurt for almost the whole year. He had to have a shoulder surgery. So he hasn't been able to be like active during this process. So we haven't seen him, do a lot of things because he couldn't run. When we interviewed him at the combine, he had a sling on, So, it's different. And like with Warren, nothing against Warren. I think he's a good player. But you always you prefer the guys to have an early breakout. I want to see an 18-year-old that's beating up on a bunch of 22 and 23-year-olds. Not a 23-year-old beating up on a bunch of 18-year-olds. And so when you have someone that has like that 1 year breakout and it's a late breakout, it's not as it's just concerning because there's not as much data to show that that's going to translate. When those guys like Jeremiah Smith is 17 dominating, like that dude's going to translate. Like, hopefully he stays healthy, but he's beating up first round corners at 17 years old. Like, he's going to be a monster.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, he could be as good as like number one next year, depending on the quarterback situation there. So, but and that's a good point with Warren. Like, like you said, I do like him as a player. It's just one of those things where, you like you said before, it's a fit type of situation. It depends on what you need, what you want. And I also believe, the whole 23-year-old beating up on 18-year-olds is a great point because a lot of his, elite traits are his physicality. I mean, it's how physical he is in the run game, whether it be blocking or running the ball. I also don't really see him running the ball in the NFL at all, honestly. I mean, I could see maybe 2 carries a season type situation, but he's not going to bring that over to the NFL.
No, I don't see the Wildcat stuff. Maybe he's everyone's going to need a tush-push specialist. Maybe he's the guy. I think Warren goes to the Colts. I think that's going to be the pick.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they got Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. Both can't stay healthy. So maybe Warren is that guy for them. But, yeah, I mean, I think he's good. And for fantasy purposes, I think he's really fun. He's that kind of George Kittle, bull in a China shop once he gets the ball in his hand. He's a really fun player. So I hope they're both good. I'm not shocked Loveland went before.
Yeah, for sure. And, I'm glad you said the Kittle because that's always what I say. I always look at it like this, if you want a Kelsey type, Colston Loveland's your guy. If you want a Kittle type, Tyler Warren's your guy. And I totally agree. He's probably going to Indianapolis. But as we were talking, the Cowboys pick is in, and it is Tyler Booker, the guard from Texas. Now, I had that in my mock the last 3 mocks that I made, and I feel like that's a great pick for them. They rebuild the trenches, kind of get things going there. Now, I want to open this up to you guys, James or Brad, if you guys have any questions for Dave while he is with us.
I'll let Brad go first because I'm pissed off because Booker was like my biggest draft crush. So
Oh,
I
get
knew it was a
over it.
very slim chance he would go to 28.
Oh,
Very
jeez.
slim.
All right, so we'll let James get a tissue real quick. But the question I do have is, I saw 3 blue chip players in here. Okay, then I saw some pretty. I see a major drop off, and I'm looking at some of these guys that have already went, and we're right before you came on. James was doing some homework for us, and I just see a lot of these guys that have gone. They would be middle ones to late ones from last year. But my real question to you is, I see the 2nd through the 4th round almost muddled together like they're the same. What I mean is a 4th round pick could actually be up in the 2nd if you know what I mean by that. I mean, it's a bad. My personal opinion. It's a bad draft this year, and so 2nd to 4, I've never seen anything like it. When people could do that, and it could go anywhere. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, what they described it as is it's a starter draft. It's not a star draft. So you're going to get a lot of starters. Some of these guys are going to be wide receiver 2s, not wide receiver 1s. You're going to be CB2s, not CB1s. But you're going to get starters. Defensive tackle, I think you're going to get starting defensive tackles in the 4th round. I think tackle, after the 1st round, you're done. Like, everybody's a guard or a backup. There's not a good quarterbacks. The receivers are okay, but there's a bunch of, like second, 2s and 3s. Running backs.
Cornerbacks, yeah.
Running backs
corners.
are so good. You could probably get a starting running back in the 5th round. I mean, it's going to be so good. And they hurt each other because they're so good. You can wait. You go, I like these 3 guys, and so like a cluster. I'm gonna until there's 2 of them left. I'm not gonna take one. And you're like, holy crap! It's the 5th round, and Rashul Tutin's still on the board. Devin Neal's still on the board. Dylan Sampson's still on the board. You're gonna take one of those guys. So I think you see some of those 4th round guys pushed up into the 2nd round, and some of the 2nd round guys push into 3rd and 4th. But there's some good depth that it's just like we talked about tight ends. Like when the blue chips of your draft are tight ends and running backs. You know what I mean? Like Jalen Walker, they're saying he's like they labeled him as a blue chip. Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks said blue chip.
Still on the board.
He's still on board because he's a 6'1", don't know what to do with him. Isaiah Simmons kind of player where if he was 6'4", he would have been the 4th, 5th pick on the board. Instead, he's on the board still at 13. I heard the Cowboys were going to go guard, but the plan was I heard to try to trade back, and it's like you said, people would rather just wait it out because there's no one worth trading up for anymore now that Hunter's gone.
I think this behooves I think this behooves the Lions because they're in a position where teams might want to come up, but it's just my thoughts. But just thinking, Bill Belichick and his penchant when he was with New England is trade back, trade back, trade back. He'd be having a field day with his draft right now. He'd be like, hey, I'm out of the 1st. Get me out of the 2nd. Get me out of the 3rd. All right, I'm going to go 4, 5, and 6 here. So I'm trying to think, and I can't remember a draft this bad. I mean, it's since
2013 was the worst draft I have ever seen in my life. I just went and looked at the picks earlier. DeAndre Hopkins was the best pick, and he was picked at 27. So,
oh God, well,
yeah, it was.
Okay, I won't go that far,
draft,
but
wasn't it?
This is bad. Yeah, this is bad. He made a great point, just about when running backs and tight ends are doing this. I mean, it's insane. I see 8 cornerbacks. They all had the 8th guy had a 6.30 grade, and then the next guy, 9th, had a 6.20. So you better get your corners now, and these corners aren't even that good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's going to be corners at the end of the draft that people are going to have to Google because they're not going to know who they are. There's two guys that are good. They're coming off of ACLs that could go in day 2, but they also could go day 1. Trey Amos, he's met with a lot of teams.
Yep, I like him.
Benjamin Morrison and Ravel, those two guys are coming off ACL injuries. If they didn't have ACLs, I think they would be first rounders. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 guys that are drafted tonight at the end of the first round that people are going to be Googling, going, who is that?
Yeah, well, you know what's great, though? Is Shiloh Sanders could be relevant. The brother of Hall of Fame Colorado University quarterback Shadur Sanders, his brother, the redheaded stepchild, might actually have his name called in this draft now.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazier things have happened. I mean, he everybody expected him to run like a 4.8, and then he had I think it was a 4.6, so that might moved him into the draft.
Did not get the car, but he might get picked.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But with that being said, I totally agree with the running back defensive line thing. I've been saying that for months. It seems like one of the deepest of both classes, running back and defensive line. Obviously, interior defensive line for the most part. But, the other day I was doing a mock draft, and like you mentioned, Bashul Tootin and all these different guys, Devin Neal, that could be there later. I took a running back in the 6th round, and then the 7th round comes around, and I'm like, damn it, I shouldn't have taken that guy. Like, there is so many good running backs in this class. So my question for you is, if you could pick one, regardless of where he goes, because my guy last year was I can't believe I'm blanking on his name, for the Giants, the rookie
Tracy.
from Purdue. Yeah, Tracy. He was great, and I loved him from day one. I told myself, 3rd round, if he's there in the back end of the 3rd, I'm taking him every time. Is there a guy like that for you? Doesn't matter where he goes?
Yeah, and so I live in Indy. I've been lucky enough to go to the Combine, and then recently I've been get the credentials, so you get to go there. And one thing I love about the running backs is being able to see them outside with the pads off. And so, like, I don't know who they are because they're like RB30, RB36, and like, you can't always tell. So I will say that, like, Bashul Tootin looked really good. That I was like, yeah, who's that? But Dylan Sampson is my guy. Like, that's my guy. He's just one of those, like, when you see everybody do a drill, he just looks better. And so, like, Genty wasn't in their drills. He was on the sideline. He didn't have to do anything. But Sampson was just one of those guys. It just looked good, and especially in the receiving. Like, I like to see the receiving drills because you can tell the guys, the guys from Boston College that haven't caught a ball their entire college career versus guys like, Saquon and Christian McCaffrey and those guys that are, like, so natural at catching the ball. And so Dylan Sampson's my guy. I think he gets 3rd round. What was that? That was a facial reaction, and then I turned to Sanders on the screen. I'm
Miami?
like, the Miami Dolphins.
Kenneth Grant. They went with
Grant
Michigan defensive tackle.
Good pick. I think his upside is tremendous. Tremendous upside. And I'm not being, I know that's the
top 12.
cliche.
Yep.
So,
Ohio
State guys.
I just legit, I saw James's eyes pop out, and I looked at my screen. I saw Deion Sanders, and I'm like,
oh, that would have been insane. But I love your point about the combine, because that's exactly what happened with me and Tyrone Tracy, like, to a T. I really didn't know who he was. I went to the combine last year, and I was like, he just looks more agile than everybody else out here. Like, he was just, the way he was cutting and moving. And then I find out he's an ex-receiver, look at his measurables, look at his stats, and I'm like, okay, this is the guy for me. So, yeah, and great points there. I really love Dylan Sampson as well. I have a pretty close friend that's a big Tennessee guy, and he has been telling me all about Dylan all season long. So
there's a fun guy talking about, like, a Tracy type with the transition. It's RJ Harvey. And so, like, Harvey is one of those, like, just explosive player where, like, talk about, like, Genty had the most, runs over 15 yards, and it was not even close. It was like 100, 100 of them. And then the next guy was like 78. But, like, RJ Harvey was the next guy. And he actually was quarterback. He went to, I think it was Wake Forest or Virginia Tech or something like that for quarterback. So he ended up being a transition to a running back. But he's lightning.
I got 2 guys. Yeah, 2 guys. What do you think about these guys? First was Jalen Blue from Texas. And then the other guy is, his name escapes me, but it's the running back from Kansas.
Devin
Those
Neal,
2 guys I see being, okay, all right, so you had him. But I see Blue. I mean, Blue could be somebody's boy, if you know what I mean. I mean, this guy,
Nice
I
reference.
don't know why he's down there mocked so low. This guy could be a dude. I mean, he's a
He's
poor
so
man's
tiny.
Jameer Gibbs. I really think so. I don't get it. This guy's going to be a stud, I think.
Blue, I think, would be like your Darren Sproles type.
Okay.
So, like, for fantasy, he may be a little hard because, you know how much he's going to
Oh, yeah.
He's just so
Right.
tiny. But he is a weapon. Like, when Daniel Jeremiah was talking about, like, okay, if the Broncos don't take a running back in the first or second round, who could be a guy? And they were like, Jaden Blue. Like, he is just... And, like, the thing with Blue that makes him exciting really the comp for him is, like, Naheem Hines. Like, he could do a lot of stuff in the passing game and then do some special teams work. But he's just so small that he's probably not going to get too many carries.
I just like this guy, man. There's something about him. I'm just going, if this guy goes to the right system, in the right system, this guy could be badass. He really could be.
Well, and like I said, he's one of the I had him down for like one of the fastest 40s. I'm like, there was like the odds for fastest 40.
Yeah.
I was like, Blue's up there. I think he ran one of the like top 3, top 4.
Yeah, a kick returner, even a kick returner. Jeez,
But Devin Neal, you mentioned Devin Neal, and it's just again like Devin Neal's probably like an RB5 in every other class, and he's like, he might be RB5 in here, but like he might be drafted RB10 because some of these other guys. But Neal is a guy I really like. Yeah, Tyler Warren to the Colts.
Yep, Tyler Warren, baby, called that one. That one's a lock since first week of mock drafts. I feel like
two tight ends in the top 15.
Yeah, James Shador Sanders didn't go here. What the hell?
Yeah, imagine if that
There's
was
only one of my mocks. I had him taking Warren in a different mock.
I'm kidding.
How many people had Michael Williams to 49ers besides me?
Valid.
I'm going to harp on that for a while.
See, I'm glad I didn't do it, but I was really starting to go like Walter Nolan is going to go higher. And last night I looked at the odds for him to go in the top 10 was 1,600 plus 1,600, and I was like, oh man, just $10 is going to get me $150. I'm like, I didn't do it, and then I went today to go do it, and it was plus 400. I'm like, it's happening, because I thought Nolan would go to the Saints, the Bears, or the 49ers. So I'm like, give me that. But yeah, Michael Williams, I'm not. I think that's a good one. Yeah, we're gonna see with these tackles. Josh Simmons is next. What do you think about him with that patellar?
I want him.
He didn't have an ACL injury, patellar tendon injury, but if he didn't have that, he probably would have been the 4th pick.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I've been saying that for weeks, honestly. Like, Josh Simmons is probably the best tackle in this draft if he doesn't get injured. Like, he's a beast, man, and I feel like, a team like maybe the Rams later in the first round would make a lot of sense, or maybe the Chiefs trading up, or Houston as well. I had him going to Houston in a lot of my mocks. I just feel he's one of those players, you take him, he's a value, he's one of the better prospects left on the board, and see what you get. I mean, obviously he's coming off an injury, but take it slow, give him time, and I mean, you're looking at probably, I think, your left tackle of the future, personally.
Oh, yeah.
See, I want him. Because every report that's coming out is he's going to be ready for training camp, and he would have been a top 5 pick. Pats would have taken him in 2 seconds. So I mean, I know we want edge, absolutely, but we've said it before, Jace. It's a Brad Holmes kind of pick, and it is Taylor Decker's replacement, because if we want to keep our guys salary cap wise, he's going to have to be traded or a casualty next year. It's not that I love that. I like Decker, but he's old and he gets hurt, So if they say Simmons, I'm very, very happy. Very happy.
Yeah, I think another lineman's going to get pushed up because you're going to see Donovan Jackson and Gray Zabel probably in here, but Donovan Jackson's a guy where he doesn't get talked about a lot as far as, position flexibility. When Simmons went down, Jackson went and bumped out to left tackle, played the national championship game left tackle. I think he goes into guard and plays guard. I think you put him there with C.J. Stroud or one of those guys that needs that interior offensive line help. But I think Jackson's going to sneak into one because of that. But, like, my prediction is that the Minnesota Vikings trade out. They have 4 picks in the entire draft, so they have the least amount of draft capital out of anybody. The Falcons are up there with one of the least amount of draft capital. They're a good trade back candidate too. So, I think you look at the Browns, who just loaded up. The Browns just got all these picks. Like they crushed on the trade chart. It was like 1,900 points that they beat the Browns got over the Jags, which is equivalent.
I told you the Jags fucked up.
Pick.
I'm telling you, they fucked up.
You were right. I did not think that it was that bad. Holy
Jason
shit.
OTC.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Jason OTC sent it out. I mean, they gave their first round pick next year, and the first round pick on the trade chart is equivalent to pick 16 because you got to call it a mid first. But we know the Jags pick is probably a top 10 pick, so it's even better. And it's like that, I quoted out, how there's the, fuck them picks, a meme. So I put James Gladstone showing off his Los Angeles roots. Sorry if I'm not allowed to swear on the show.
No, you're
What
good.
an
You're
idiot.
good.
No, you're good.
Totally
What an
fine.
idiot.
Yeah, but that was just such an enormous haul, and now they're loaded up. They got an extra second rounder plus their early second round because they have the first pick of the second round. The Browns do.
Mm-hmm.
They're the first pick of the second round plus the Jags second round pick. They can easily trade up ahead of the Steelers to get Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart. I firmly think Jackson Dart's the second quarterback off the board.
It's draft day 2.0.
Yeah.
Sonny Weaver fleeced a young GM in Jacksonville.
Exactly.
Yep.
Sonny Weaver with another victory.
It was funny. As soon as it happened, I thought to myself, you know how odd it is.
Give credit to Jace. Give
You
credit
know
to
how
Jace.
odd it is that the 5th pick is the same pick that the Jags had in draft day.
Yeah.
They traded up this time with the youngest GM in the NFL, which is what they had in draft day. It's like poetry in motion, guys. It's like
Michael Flory made that reference.
That is weird.
This week.
Yeah, that is so weird, man.
Gladstone got hired like 3 days before the NFL Combine conference, because what they do is they have media sessions for each one of the GMs and coaches. So he got up there. People didn't realize he was one of the GMs. I mean, he's so young. He looks like an intern.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
That's how I am at
cup
work.
of coffee. Yeah, son, go get me a cup of coffee real quick before we start here.
I mean-
I'm the GM of the Jags. Oh, that's why you're the Jaguars.
Yeah. So I mean, it was quite interesting. But yeah, it's going to be. I think the Browns or the Giants are going to make the move, and we'll see if the Steelers pass on a quarterback, then maybe they don't have to panic and go up there. But I do think that the Giants try to get ahead of the Browns, or the Browns just try to move up to secure that 5th round. And the Vikings are just such a great spot, and also the Rams are the great spot because the Rams love to trade back. They don't like to use their first round pick.
Yep. Totally agree with you there. And I feel like, most likely Jackson Dart is the next quarterback taken. I could also see the Giants, trading up with the Rams, for instance, taking Dart, and then the Browns still getting Sanders with their second round pick. So
Falcons got 42 seconds left on the clock.
I was just thinking that. Are they going to trade down here? What's going on?
They
got a
gotta
minute
be.
30 for me.
Like,
Jalen
man.
Walker. It's got to be Jalen Walker,
I
doesn't
told
it?
you, the Falcons have the second least amount of draft capital. They're a good team to trade back.
Yeah. And maybe they're working the phones trying to put Kirk Cousins in that deal or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe
But
they're going to
it-
draft Shedeur just like they shocked us last year.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
that
for
would
fuck's
be.
sake.
Deion
If
Sanders loves
well,
Atlanta.
Deion did play there.
Yeah.
Did. That was Deion. But I mean, don't you take Jalen Walker if they stay?
Pick is
Don't
in.
you? I mean, you have to.
It's got to be Jalen Walker here. I
Yeah.
heard they
Yeah.
really liked Michael Williams,
Mm-hmm.
and they've always wanted edge. I just don't see, and there's some edges here that have really there's a lot of concerns. Mike Green and James Pierce both have off the field concerns.
Jalen Walker's the
do
pick.
they?
So you guys called that one. Makes so much
There you
sense.
go.
I thought Shamar
Georgia
Stewart
boy?
might have
Yeah.
a chance there, but it does seem like Shamar's falling. And I don't know. Mr. Peter Schrager had him going 31st, I think, in his mock. I'm sorry if he's there at 28. I'm taking him. Athletic
Fuck
beast
yeah,
put
you
him
are.
next to Aiden. Shamar Stewart.
Oh my god! I'm sorry. I heard the double S's and I thought you said Shedeur Sanders. I'm like,
Oh.
the Lions? What the fuck?
Nope.
Hey,
we don't
you
need
know,
another
hey.
Jared Goff.
Shahad Campbell's starting to get around that area. So I want to see
Yep.
if he gets past the Bucks. things are
Tampa,
going to
yeah,
get
Tampa.
interesting with him.
Yeah, Tampa's the floor, I think, for him. But if he gets past there, man, anything's possible. So with that being said, Dave, we appreciate you for coming on as always. Door is always open if you ever want to come back. It was a great time having you. Draft day is always fun, but it's even more fun.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely, man. Nice to meet you guys, and
Nice to meet
everybody,
you.
make sure you
Yeah,
have a great rest of the draft.
You as well,
That's
man.
good
Take
stuff.
it easy.
Thank you.
Well, the guests, that's the end of it. That was fun having some new faces
Yeah,
and some new
great
voices
time.
on the
That's
on the
awesome.
show.
Fucking awesome.
And it seems as though
A plus.
they might come back. Yeah. It was
Hell yeah, man. Hell
awesome.
yeah.
So with that being said, we are at pick 15, which is originally when we were going to stop. Now, I think we just go to 10 at least. Just 10 p.m. and see
Dude,
what
I was
happens.
planning on doing the whole fucking thing.
All right.
I'm going to stay up anyways. I'm staying up anyways.
You know? That's
Like,
valid.
we're not going to
That's
stay
valid.
up to watch it. You know what I
That's
mean?
valid. Well, I might have to take a piss break here in a second then.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, it's
I'm
past
kinda
my
thirsty.
bedtime already. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
and seriously, I got my blanket here, cat somewhere here, and got my nighttime tea. I'm staying up. Fuck it. I ain't doing any of that shit. I'm staying up.
Valid.
I took
Valid.
tomorrow
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I told work I'm going to be an hour late, so.
Yeah. Well, dude, the fucking Bears. Let's get back to them. I'm telling you, there's already a chink in the armor of Ben Johnson. There already is. He got Cole Kmet. He was good enough. All right. Let me put it. Oh, by the way,
like Cole Kmet.
did you see? Yeah, every single team so far, they show the fans, right? And they were showing all the Bear fans, that gay ass dude with the bear hat going, rawr, rawr, rawr. Okay. And then the pick came in. Well, all the other teams, they showed the reaction. They didn't show the Bears fans' reaction.
Very true.
Might be a coincidence.
That's
but,
very true.
You know,
And we've seen
he's-
that happen before.
I mean, this is crap. I mean, Loveland, I'm sorry, in a regular draft, in a normal draft, he's a mid-second. And they took him in top 10. I love it. Bears going to
Like
bear.
I said, I'm like,
Bears
I
are
had
going to
Loveland
bear.
as a dark horse to us, but yeah, not at 10.
Oh,
No.
fuck no. Yeah.
So,
no,
with
fuck
that being
no.
said, I will be right back. I'm going to go take a pee break. You guys carry the show. I know you're capable, so BRB.
All right.
Yeah. Well, it might get out of control now. I don't know.
Oh, we
Don't
gotta
get
wait
too
for him
much.
to
Look at
walk
our-
away.
Dude, do you see Arthur Blank? He looks like grim death. Oh, my God. That dude has aged poorly. Cardinals are up.
All right,
Those
Jason,
hats are
let's
so
end this
stupid.
stream. Let's just cut out. Let's grab pillows real quick. Turn the lights off.
Yeah. I'm good, man. Oh, yeah. No shit. That'd be funny. Yeah,
Oh, man, I'm
dude,
up for this. Whether we're
I was flabbergasted when the Bears did that. I was like, yes. And I'm telling you, Ben Johnson is a fraud. He's a fraud. He was a product of Dan Campbell. He just was. I still think, I'll say it to the day I die, Campbell was the guy behind the trick plays. It's so his MO with the going forward on fourth downs, we said it, like the balls in the wheelbarrow. That has Dan Campbell's signatures all over it. He told him when to run those. So I ain't buying this wizard.
Oh, absolutely. Before Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson was just a tight ends coach.
Yeah. I mean, he got rid of Anthony Lynn, and this guy Campbell called the whole. Hey, look how bad they got a lot better second half after Lynn left. Well, guess who's calling? Dan Campbell. Who we got left here? You got Barron on the board. You got Campbell on the board. Hampton, Golden. I mean, if I'm the Cardinals, I'm taking Barron or Campbell here. I mean, from what I see,
I don't watch a ton
I
of
don't-
Cardinals games, so I don't even know what their needs are.
nobody
I mean,
does it.
Campbell's
Most
a
of
good
I mean,
pick no
outside
matter
of
what your needs are. He's just a good football player.
yeah, it's got to. I mean, you can't go wrong with that guy. That guy's a football player. It's like in baseball when you call somebody a dirtbag. That's the best compliment you can give a guy.
Yeah.
In football, if you call, if in football you say, "Hey, he's a football player," same thing. Same thing. I think this draft looks like shit, by the way, too, with Green Bay. I don't know what their setup is here, but it's horrible. They got
I'm
like
just
5
excited
people in the.
because, I don't see any rumors or anything, but just the way reading the tea leaves, as Jay likes to say,
Yeah.
if someone does in that have one of those first or second picks in the second round that wants to move up for a quarterback so they can get that fifth year option, especially now that the Browns traded back and have that extra capital from the Jags. The Browns could give
Yeah,
us one of those second round picks in addition to 33, move up to 28, and then take the quarterback and have the fifth year option.
right. Did you guys notice this too? Because they're having their own little, I mean, it's like they're making freaking Shadur like, oh, brand there, brand here, brand here. So they're having their own little party. But the only time they click in is like when they're kind of smiling and everything. But I can tell you right now, they clicked in on Dion talking to Shadur, and he was almost like talking through his teeth, like, hey, the cameras are on us right now, so let's smile, like everything look good. I'm telling you, he was doing that. All right. So they're having this whole big party. It's good. And tell me this. Tell me that why aren't they at the draft in the green room?
Because
He
they
would
know
be at the
he ain't
draft in
getting
the green
picked,
room.
baby. He ain't getting picked tonight.
Hello.
But, sorry to change the subject, Walter Nolan picked
Sure.
number 16 to the Cardinals. I'm just saying, man. I knew
Yeah.
that was going to happen. And a lot of people
Yeah.
told me I was crazy. A lot of people said Walter Nolan ain't even a first-round pick, which by a lot of
Dude.
people, I mean one dumbass on Twitter who was calling me all types of names because I thought Walter Nolan was
Nah,
worth the
shocker.
28th pick. So, yeah,
I was
shocker.
going to say, I don't know if I can repeat that, but I remember seeing or rereading that that thread.
Walter
Yeah.
Nolan, looking at this and thinking, because we've got this pretty much, we've done a good job. That Atlanta didn't fuck us up. Bears fucked us up, whatever.
Bears and the Saints is what killed
Walter
us.
Nolan, if someone
I'm okay with
says
that.
next year if someone says next year that Walter Nolan was the best player out of this draft, I would not be surprised. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Not at all. Because I'm telling you, the new trend is to get your pass rush up the middle. Edges you need your edges. Do not get me wrong. But I'm telling you, it's the rush up the middle that everybody's going to start doing now.
Mm-hmm. You know, and it's funny you say that because I've thought that since I was 7 years old. And you want to know why? I watched the Giants beat Tom Brady and the Patriots. And I said, what did they do different that other teams couldn't? They put Justin Tuck on that 3-5 tech, and he just went rampant. I mean, he did his thing.
Exactly. I mean, so edges are important. They're going to be important. But I'll tell you what, if they start getting that pass rush up the middle, the outside linebackers are going to be a hell of a lot more relevant,
Mm-hmm.
So and you know what? Like I said, when you got Mahomes and Brady, probably the two greatest quarterbacks of all time, maybe, saying, I'd rather have edges come off than up the middle, then you got something there. So
It's another reason why I've been huge on Derek Harmon. He has good interior pressure.
For sure, and that's the thing. I think Walter Nolan and Derek Harmon are the two best pass rushing defensive tackles in this draft, period. So, I totally agree. I like Derek Harmon, too, I think he's a top 20 talent in this draft. I don't know when he's going to get picked based on his medicals, but if we can get him at 28, I'm going to fuck.
Fuck yeah. Hey, speaking of Shahad Campbell, I don't know if you guys saw with Shahad Campbell. I don't know if you saw a different type of Shahad, but you see Abdul Carter's girlfriend had his mom. They had the whole Shahad on it. You could only see their eyes. He's going to catch a lot of shit about that in different stadiums. I guarantee you different stadiums are going to rail the fuck out of him for that.
He could. I mean,
it's
who
wrong.
knows?
Yeah,
I hope
it's
not.
wrong. I'm not sitting here like David Duke saying something. I'm not. It's wrong. But,
I'll tell you what,
I'm not, yeah. But yeah, it was just because we have kids at our school like that. And they're amazing. But yeah, it was just a little thing here. So I was just like, because they got some.
Reason.
Yeah. Kenneth Grant's, his mom, her whole, Kenneth Grant's mom, her dress almost came all the way and her titties almost flopped out. And she's an old fat woman. I'm like, no! Fuck. So, but yeah, I digress on that. I'm getting a little too excited. I'm getting slap happy. But,
and you're not even the one drinking beers, buddy. I don't know.
No. I'm 2 in. A lot longer than you thought. Yeah, well, you're a hell of a lot younger than I am. But, shit.
You are right about that.
Well, fuck you. I'm telling you, the biggest reason is not almost just the Lions. I want to see the Hall of Fame Colorado University Shedeur Sanders cry. I want to see him cry. And
Yeah.
I want to see
Oh, they
Dion
just put
come
on
out with
any
a
of his
with a
highlight
toothy white
films.
smile. I just want to have Dion come out and, hey, you know what? It's a great opportunity. We wanted this. We wanted this. The Lord was telling me through the Lord telling me he should go to the second round because that's the best thing for him. Shut up, Prime. Shut up. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to try to spin this. And you know what? Your son ain't good. Last year's draft, third round. Third round. Next year's draft, fourth round.
I mean, I said third round this year in terms of talent. So,
Right.
Right.
And I
but
mean,
I got
Who
called all
wants to
kinds of names, and
well,
who wants to be the team that takes them, gets the circus, and just will never live it down? They'll be world famous for, hey, you know what? That's the idiots that took Shadur Sanders.
mhm.
I don't want to be that team. I don't want to be that dude, man. I don't, because I can't wait.
Sorry, completely
cannot wait.
unrelated point here, but the Knicks Pistons game is 3 points right now. Jalen Brunson, I think, just did a over and back. Oh, it's 4 points with 3 seconds. Okay, I thought it was still 3 points because Jalen Brunson just committed an over the back or over and back is what they were looking at in the replay. So it looks
my
like
box
they.
score is showing 1 point.
Yeah, it's 1 point now, 1.5 seconds left, but the game's over. But I was just like, are the Pistons about to tie this game? No, but they did hit the three. But game is
They
over.
came back. I mean, they gave the lead away, but there's too
Yep.
many stretches from this basket. They're
Ooh,
like I said, house money.
Bengals
What?
are selecting.
Oh, I
Shamar
thought you were
Stewart.
like they hit a three and got fouled.
No, Shamar Stewart
Told you they're
is
going
a
pass
Bengal.
rusher. They need a line, but they're
I
going
think
pass
they're-
They're
rusher.
gonna go pass rusher, yeah. And I think now Trey Hendrickson is
I think they're
traded
gonna
for
go
a second
line.
round pick. I think he gets traded
Yeah,
for a second
I
round
think
pick
they're-
now.
I think they're going line. I think they're going offensive line.
Who?
Bengals.
They already took Shamar
Nope.
Stewart.
Oh, did they? Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
they
you were
just took
predicting
Shamar
it.
Stewart.
My
Nope,
bad.
they just
Okay.
took him.
No.
Yep.
All right.
Which I think is a
Like I
great
was saying-
pick.
Well, they
Yeah.
need defense for
I
fuck's
like
sake.
him, but like I said, when I was the GM for the Mox of Cincinnati, I had a lot of pass rushes to him.
Oh,
Because,
there
like
he
I was
is.
saying, for whatever reason, they like ignoring their old line. Burrow keeps
Look
getting
at
killed,
Shadur.
and they just never protect
Look
him.
at
Right.
Look at Shadur. They got him on NFL Network. Oh, he's looking a little worried. He's trying to fake the dance. Look at the people around him. They look worried.
My favorite thing is the
Oh.
money sign squared in the background.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Is it because
I'm
you're
looking
Number
at
not?
two,
Ian
no,
Rappaport.
Prime.
I don't know what you guys are talking
No,
about.
it's Prime. The money squared is for his number. and
Are
it's
you
for
on
Prime's number.
ESPN, James?
I'm on.
I'm on
I'm on NFL Network.
NFL Network.
Okay, we are too. I don't know then. That's odd because they were just showing Shadur. But anyway, back to your point,
now
James.
it is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But anyway, back to your point.
I just like the Bengals. They just spent $70 million per season on Chase and T Higgins. They're
That's
giving Burrow
insane.
$55 million a year. So
Mhm.
between three players on offense, they are spending 125, if my math is right. 125 million per season on three players on offense.
Mhm.
But without an O line, Burrow can't get them the ball,
Right.
and then they just draft line.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love building the trenches, but what the fuck are they doing?
Wrong side of the trenches, brother.
Yeah,
How the hell is Burrow going to get the ball to these 70 mil wide receivers when he's on his
Well,
fucking ass five
and
times a game?
and they
Yes.
cut their starting guard too, so they got even more holes.
Oh,
The
sure, why not?
Seahawks,
Yeah.
the Seahawks though are currently looking to trade down. The Lions, bro, could trade up right now and get Campbell, jump the Bucks. How would you guys feel if, let's say, the Lions gave up this pick, or 28 pick 102, and a next year 4? How would you feel about that? I don't think that's crazy.
It's-
I still think
A+?
they'd have to give up more because they're moving 10 spots in the first round. But
I really like
I-
John Campbell, and mentioned kind of a little bit on what Brad said a little bit ago. When he mentioned like his family in the hijabs, I'm just like, I don't know if anyone's been to Dearborn, but we have a very large Muslim population. He will fit right in, like open arms. Let's go, come on in, buddy.
No, they do. There's Dearborn and Hamtramck, by the way. Hamtramck
Yep.
is huge now.
No issues.
I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that though.
about Campbell or Stewart.
I know I said on Campbell, I mean, what I said is, and we talked about it, James, while Jace was away. I mean, we use the term dirtbag in baseball when it's a highest compliment. And Jahad Campbell I use football player. He's a football player, but
Yep.
is he a football player worth going and getting? Jesus,
Yes.
Stewart's trying to fucking beat the shit out of Goodell. He's pissed he went that low. I don't know if Campbell, he's a football player, but is he a football player worthy of the 19th pick? I don't
Yes.
know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be, I don't
I
like
know you
giving up
disagree
capital.
heavily. I think
just-
Campbell's a blue chip player, and I know
I'm sorry, I'm
confused,
confused, Brad. Weren't you the one for the past couple weeks saying
Yeah.
we should trade up for him?
But
Yes.
I was, but to 19, I was talking like 21, 22. You're talking a hell of a lot of capital there. I mean, I agree.
I don't
did
think it
say
would be
that,
much
but
different, honestly, from
you know?
18 to like 21. I don't really think it would be that much different.
You don't think so?
No, I mean, if you
I-
think about it, especially with the way this draft is, like if you're going to move down 8 picks, you'd be okay with moving down 10. If you think about it that way, the value-wise, you're still going to get a
Yeah.
similar player, you know what I mean? So I don't know if the capital would be much different, but I do agree with you. I don't know if I would want to give it up. I mean, we don't have a lot of picks this year.
That's
yeah. So I get not wanting to make a deal, but
then again, I in some of these trades that I've put it out there and stuff, I think I've undervalued not giving up enough, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
I didn't know you had to give up so much to move up so much. I was thinking, like, I'll give you an example. I personally would think, and I know I'm wrong here, I personally think if you're moving up, okay, give them your 2 and give them your 3 next year. And that wouldn't get it all done. And I'm starting to learn that a little bit.
no, yeah,
But
trade
what-
values are.
It all depends
What would
on
it
where
take to
you're
move?
trading.
Okay. What would it take the Lions to go from 28 to 19? What would it take?
I
Let me
think
pull up the draft chart real quick.
I think you could
Or 18,
realistically
18.
if we went from
18.
28 to 18, you could realistically give up pick 28, pick, I don't know, let's see. I wouldn't want to give up our second round pick. That's the only reason I'm not including it. But we would have to give at least the first round in a third and maybe another third, if not a fourth, minimum.
I would easily give up our first this year, third this year, and third
Yeah.
next year for him.
Yeah, I think so too.
I would do that. No, I would definitely do that. I don't want to hear the word second round involved. I just don't. I really
Let's
don't.
see.
No, I hear you
20
there.
Pick 28 is worth 660 points. We said we're trying to trade at 18.
Yeah.
That's 900, so that would be 240 points. Our third round pick, because it's compensatory, is worth 92. So our next year's third might be slight edge for us getting a better value, but it will at least be within talking points.
Right.
So first, third this year, and third next year will get at least the conversation going.
So yeah,
Maybe a
even
pick
then.
swap in a
Seattle's-
different round.
Seattle's in.
Yep, pick is in. I think they are gonna go.
They might
Damn,
take
this
Goes
is-
to Shadur Sanders. You're
I was
never
gonna say
live
they
it
might
down.
take Campbell. They might take Golden too, or Emeka Egbuka. I could see them.
I saw the.
I
saw
don't think
the,
they're gonna. I was off. Yeah,
You know what? I'm gonna
Gray
vote
Zabel.
pick, I
because-
It's
didn't like
Gray
that.
Zabel.
Yeah.
Greg Zabel. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes
Doesn't
sense.
surprise me at all. It's a
I don't know
great
how I
pick.
didn't think of that. They said the Seahawks could have traded this pick, by the way, and it sounds like the Buccaneers are also looking to trade the pick, or their pick.
Oof.
So 18 and 19
Oof.
are both of. Well, 18 is not available anymore, but 19 is
It's
available.
cheaper the later it gets, by the way, Brad.
Exactly. So
Okay.
like,
No, that's cool. That's cool.
I don't know if I would want to trade up to 19 because of depending on how much it takes. It's one of those things where if it happens, I won't be mad, but if it doesn't happen, I think I'd be totally fine with it.
And like I said,
You
I'm
see that
perfectly
Graham
fine with
Bart-
trading back too. But I will say, if Campbell's on the board, I'm not trading back. I'm just taking him.
Yeah, no, fuck
The
no.
whole sprint to the podium, blah blah blah.
Right.
Did
Yeah,
you
I-
see
I'm
that
totally with you.
comparison just now on the screen about Gray Zabel being compared to Barton from last year? That's a perfect comparison. Zabel, you can play him anywhere, literally anywhere. So he's such a Swiss Army knife up and down that line. That's priceless.
Hey, Brad would like this point. I don't know why it's irrelevant, but Ian Rappaport tweeted it out. So what the hell? I'll just read it. With options, the Seahawks stick with their 18th pick and pick North Dakota State University Gray Zabel, a former left-handed pitcher who used to throw in the low 90s.
Jesus Christ.
Damn, okay.
He didn't get
Gray
drafted.
Zabel.
I mean, I'm surprised he didn't get drafted.
Right at fucking
Lefty with that?
6'3", 320 pounds, playing baseball like that.
If you're left-handed,
Lefty.
if you're left-handed, you throw in the 90s, you're guaranteed to get drafted. I don't know where, but you're getting drafted.
Right.
He
Shout out
probably
Jared
said, I'm going
Lorenzen.
football.
Right. Yeah, probably. And I mean, he's also so big. I mean, it's one of those things that why even waste the pick? He's going to play his whole career in the NFL. Like Kyler Murray, for instance, Kyler Murray, I kind of understand because it's like maybe they thought
pick overall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it in the
pick.
first round, but it's like I kind of get drafting him because it's like he's a damn good, baseball player, and there's a chance he doesn't play that long in the NFL. Like, let's say he retires at 30. I mean, you could still go play major league baseball.
I thought there was a shot there. He was gonna baseball after his first year or second year. I really did. And I think there was talk about that, but he's kind of turned it around. He really has.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Kyler Murray.
He's so small. He's just so small.
Yeah,
he's like when he runs, I hear the Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, seriously.
If I was him, I would have definitely
tiny.
chose baseball over football just because how it
Injuries.
saves your body. Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, think about it. He probably would have made more money in baseball if he was really good at it. Like,
Easily.
so
yeah,
it's just one of those things,
He was. I don't know why it sticks with me, but he was the 9th overall selection by the Oakland Athletics. He was a top 10 pick in both the MLB and NFL.
Not the Oakland Athletics anymore, just the Athletics. So sad. What a great franchise that was too. Fuck. That fucking owner.
Oakland Raiders Stadium, whatever the hell that was called.
Yeah, the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Now you guys, hey, this is a true story. The visiting broadcast team. This was 2 years ago in the Coliseum. A freaking raccoon, it like chews its way out of the wall, like the stucco or whatever you want to call it. A raccoon. That's how fucked up that stadium is. It was a
that's
toilet.
crazy. I can't say I'm surprised that they got out of there. I remember they used to play on the fucking. I remember they used to play on the baseball field. Like the fucking football field was half dirt. I'm like, what is going on? This is $1 billion fucking place right now.
Yeah,
and these motherfuckers are playing on dirt.
Grass.
Yeah, it's like you might as well leave the bases out there. Fuck it, who cares, right? I mean, who gives a shit?
Hey,
at that point?
Was commonplace. Yeah, that was commonplace back in the 80s and the 70s. In fact, if you ever saw a tape of Billy Sims, this goes way back. He was a hell of a running back too. But Billy Sims.
I know, I'm joking with you.
Oh, okay, fuck you.
We ain't that young, damn it. We ain't that young, Brad.
Okay.
But when he's for the Lions, I get it.
Yeah, but when he's playing in Angel Stadium, showing all the dirt on there, I mean, Bo Jackson, all the dirt. I mean, it's reminiscent, man. I kind of like that look.
I mean, it's nostalgic. So the Buccaneers are not trading. The Buccaneers pick is in, Who do you think they take? I think it's got to be Campbell. Mike Green is still on the board, though. Mike Green is still on the board, guys.
Oh, my God. Who the hell is this? Sorry, there's a random account on X because I keep refreshing to see. And someone just posted, and they have a check mark, so apparently they're legit or whatever. It says, what the heck is a Greg Zabel? LOL Seahawks. How have you not heard of this guy?
He's a good player at the sport of football that is necessary to have offensive linemen that you need. I mean, how far back do we need to go for this guy? You know what I'm saying? It's like, how much do you know? Do you even know what guard means? Because, I mean,
I know a ton.
Where do we need to start?
I also know a ton about him. My wife went to South Dakota State.
Oh, no.
So we watch a ton.
I'm sorry, Brad, to cut you off. The Bucks just took wide receiver Emeka Egbuka with the 19th pick, bro.
As we all predicted. No, I'm just kidding.
Fucking A, man.
Thank you.
The Bucks. The Buccaneers.
You got Golden out there. Look,
we
this
are
Shadur
getting to the point where I'm gonna. Every year I do this, but it's normally hard to do when we're picking 28th. Once there's like 5 or 6 picks away, I make like a Lions big board of like 5 picks of Lions, just cross them off as they go.
Yeah.
And we're getting to the point now where
Dion tweeted, "The rejected will be respected."
Hold on, Brad. Let Jim finish this real quick.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
No,
so
you're good.
sorry.
You're good. But once because we're at what 19 pick is in, you said it was the receiver, so there's 20. Then so we need about 8, 9 guys right now
Yeah,
that would potentially be nice fits for the Lions. But I'm like, we still got
there's some
Campbell, we
good
still got
players out
Campbell,
there.
Simmons, we still got
Green's there.
Green, Simmons.
Simmons,
I'm trying to spitball here.
Jackson.
Hold on, I'll look up the board because I'm blanking on most of these guys too right now for some reason.
I have my
Yeah,
head so wrapped around Devin, or not Devin Booker, wrong Barker.
Devin Booker, wrong Detroit
Yeah,
team,
like-
brother.
I was watching the Pistons game too.
Right.
I've looked at my screen maybe like 10 times total. I haven't heard a word they said. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to
Dude,
do
I
this
love
so I can
this.
hear the commentary.
Yeah, that's the one thing I
am
do
loving the
miss.
looks.
That's one thing I do miss about not being live while we're watching this is being able to hear what they're saying all the time. You know,
Yeah.
Will
Like I said,
Johnson, Jade Barron, Derek Harmon,
Yep.
Giad Campbell, Mike Green, Josh Simmons, Donovan Easy, Malachi
There's a
Starks is still available.
Okay, you can stop there. You just named 9. So one of those guys you just named will be
Will
on
be
the
a
board.
Lion. Will be a Detroit Lion. I'm putting my money on, okay? I want to say Mike Green falls to us.
Love
I
it.
just have a feeling that Mike Green falls to us, man. We
He
got
could
8
fall,
more
Also,
but I
only
picks.
don't
9
think
starts. Put
he could fall, but I don't
Brian
think they're going
Branch
to take
back to
him.
nickel because
Yeah.
they just extended Kirby.
Yeah.
Move Branch
Or-
to nickel and take Starks.
It could mean we move on from Branch, and I love Branch. I would have preferred to keep
Oh,
Branch
God.
over Joseph personally, but if we take Starks, we got 3 safeties. I also tweeted out today, just because you give a guy a deal doesn't mean you keep him the whole time. I'm just saying, Kirby could be gone in 2-3 years. His deal is what, 4? I mean, you get what
Yeah.
I'm saying here? It's a 4-year deal. 3 years down the line, he's not going to have any guaranteed money left. We could trade him, get him off the books, re-sign Branch. We got Starks to take his spot. I don't know. It wouldn't be that crazy. I just think Brad's going to take the best player on the board, period.
he
Quick
is.
side
He
note:
is.
3 Michigan players taken before the first Ohio State players. Go
Yeah,
Blue.
that was clutch. That was clutch.
All right.
I
so
will say-
Deion tweeted out.
Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
No, Deion tweeted out, the rejected will be respected. He's already tweeting.
Dude, Shador tweeted immediately, like after the first pick was made. He tweeted out and was like, I'm built for whatever comes my way or something like that. And it's just like,
If you
man,
were, you
well,
would have been picked.
it's
They
like, look,
peered in on the.
I don't hate Shador Sanders personally. I feel like you guys have a little bit more like dislike towards him, and I don't like him, but it's like at the same time, man, stop digging at more of a fucking hole. You already have
That's
people
why
that
I don't
don't
like
like
him.
you, and you're fucking digging a hole because you want to be the center of attention. You want to be, which to be fair, he didn't do it to himself, the cat. I love the cat. He didn't do it to
Fucking cat.
himself, but like,
Fuck, man.
he kind of did. I mean, oh, the Giants are currently trying to trade up.
Oh,
They can
fuck.
trade up with the Lions.
He's gonna get his
Actually, I don't
wish.
even know if I want to trade.
No,
back just
he's
because of
going to
how
get
who
his
he said.
wish.
I think
Shador's going to get his wish.
if the Lions stay
I'm all
put,
for it.
if Mike Green or Giad Campbell are there, we have to stay put. If not, I think I'd be okay with trading down, even if the other guys are there, just because I don't think the other guys are as impact, and maybe we can get them a little bit later too. But what are you guys' thoughts on Igbuka to Tampa Bay? Because, man, that is a very surprising pick for me. I get it. I like Igbuka. He's a good player, you know. I just am surprised they went wide receiver because, you know, we talked about it on the pod before, and I was you were the one that said it, and I was like, I know, man, but like they're win now. That's what I thought, and I thought they had a solid wide receiver 3 over there. Now, you know, maybe they're
just
thinking,
old.
yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at. They're getting to the point where they're looking beyond Mike Evans, you know, and that's what that signals. But what are your
I'm
thoughts?
more.
What are your
Godwin's
thoughts?
old.
Yeah. What do you think, James? What are your full thoughts on this?
He's not the receiver I personally would have picked. I would have gone with
No.
like Golden or something like that. But I mean, in our mocks, I mean, I know it was Brad's pick, but I did mention a wide receiver because they're just aging, and I mean, they're not bad players by any means, but they're getting older. And are you going to wait until they're already gone to replace them, or They're both potential trade candidates as well. So I'm not completely shocked, but I am shocked with which receiver they took.
Yeah, and that's very valid too. Like I'm definitely more shocked on who it was than the fact that they took a receiver. So, Brad, what are your thoughts?
I'm not surprised they took a receiver because Evans is getting old, and Godwin, how many times we talk about him getting hurt? I don't
Yeah.
think he's reliable. I'm surprised Tampa even signed him back. Get the fuck out of my face. Put his ass in my face. Fuck, man. I'm more interested in this Bronco pick because I think it's either Golden or I'm going to tell you it could be Humphreys here. It could
Yeah.
be either one of them. And I know there's more. I know there's more running backs in the second round, but Humphreys is
Hampton.
pretty
Hampton.
fucking good.
Hampton.
I was confused.
Hampton.
I'm like, Humphreys?
Hampton,
I don't
sorry.
know who that is.
No, Hampton.
Yeah,
Hampton. He's
that
pretty
makes sense.
fucking good, man.
Yeah.
He
I think
really
Matthew
is.
Golden
He's
makes the
pretty
most sense here for them because, I mean, that's been the most mocked
Yeah.
one,
I
think,
agree.
overall.
I agree, but I think Hampton, I mean, he had Drake made, last year, which, whatever, it was more a spotlight on him, and it was about May because they put the ball in his hands a lot. And that was 2 years ago, I'm sorry. And now last year, I mean, Mac Brown was a train wreck, just a train wreck of an offense with him. So I think Hampton's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I would agree.
Pick is in.
The pick is in, and let's see
I don't see nothing
who
on
it is.
Twitter.
No, me either, not yet.
I keep refreshing my Twitter stream, and it's just like, oh, look at that. Breaking news. Dolphins take Kenneth
Yeah.
Grant. I'm like, that's so long ago.
Jade Barron to the Denver Broncos, folks. That is a pick we did not see coming.
Look at
We
that
did not
defensive
see that coming.
backfield.
That's crazy,
Patrick
man.
Surtain and him.
I almost feel like, yeah, that's a great point, Brad. Patrick Surtain matching him up with Jade Barron. And they got,
you got Mahomes.
What's their other corner? Riley, what is his last name? Riley what? Shoot, I just keep thinking Riley Green because the damn Tigers. But
I was just
anyway,
gonna say it. Yeah.
he's a damn good player too, and I think Jade Barron fits perfectly there because that guy, he's a little bit more of an outside corner. You know what I mean? So they got him. Now they got Jade, who's a bit more of a slot type of guy who can play the outside too. Their defensive, well, at least their cornerback room is pretty set now. So they're looking pretty good on defense over there. Definitely not necessarily what we thought was going to happen based on our predictions, but
No, but I do
Right.
like it a lot. It's something I
Yeah.
didn't think of, and I kind of regret not thinking about it because, as I was
Yeah.
saying multiple times, not to beat a dead horse, but overload one position when you already have Patrick Surtain. Go get another corner and just lock shit down.
yeah, for sure.
Why isn't Simmons from the safety, the veteran safety, not the Simmons we're talking about?
Justin Simmons,
He's still
yeah.
out there from Atlanta. Yeah, no,
I still
No,
think
no,
he's
no.
a free agent.
yeah, Justin Simmons. Why is he still out there?
He's a really good player. He's just old, man. He wants money, and that's what I was actually
Yeah.
talking to one of my friends about
Yeah.
yesterday. So think about it like this, guys. There's a lot of good players left, right? Like Justin Simmons, like Von Miller, like, a decent amount of guys left. The reason they're not getting picked up is because of where they're at in their career, skill-wise and just age-wise,
Yeah.
and the money that they want. For teams, they want to say, okay, let's see what we do in the draft first. Let's see if we can't draft a second or third round edge instead of giving Von Miller a 1-year, $15 million deal. You know what I'm saying? I think
Right.
that's really all it is. Justin Simmons is going to want a 1-year, $10 million, $12 million deal. So I think teams are saying, I think we could get Malachi Starks, or I think we can get Amon Wari, and they're going, let's see how this plays out. So
I'm really liking what I'm seeing in terms of who's available left.
same,
and
dude.
someone's guaranteed.
Jade Barron
Colton
was not on
Pouncey.
our list of guys that we wanted, so that helps us a lot.
Because Colton
Yeah.
Pouncey just posted. There's some guys still on the board, and I know you did a rundown, but since it's just in front of me, Chad Campbell, Derek Harmon, Will Johnson, Donovan Easy, Matthew Golden, Mike Green, Josh Simmons, Nick Amanawari, and Malachi Starks. 2 of those people are guaranteed to be on the board when the Lions pick.
Yeah, I don't see them. I mean, they're not trading up. I don't think they trade up here. I could see
Not
them
with this
trading
many
down.
people
though.
left now.
Yeah, I could see him
I
trading
could
down.
originally, but like if G.I. Campbell is just sitting there, I do not see us
No,
trading
right?
down.
No, if they won't trade up, but if anything, they trade down. I don't see them trading up. This is not the kind of draft to trade up in the first round.
No, I
Trade
agree
up
with you,
on.
Brad.
I just don't
I
Jacksonville
think it
think
is.
I
It's too
Jaguars
think
much.
highly disagree.
I think we stay
Well,
put or
yeah,
move
that's why they're
down.
Jacksonville.
Just based on this board, and they also got the best player in the draft. So it's not really the same right now. I would say the Lions probably either stay put or trade down based on the board right now because, like we just talked about, guys, we named 8 or 9 guys that we would have been okay with drafting, or at least I did. So, guys, I would have been
Right.
okay with drafting. So it's like, okay, Jade Barron was not one of them. He's off the board now. We only got 7 guys left that will get drafted. Now, if Mike Green and Jad Campbell both go, I might think about a trade down. If not, I have to pick one of them. That's really where I'm at.
I just don't see Green. Do I like him? Yeah, I fucking love him. But again, character concerns is just not the Lions style. It never. Do you guys
Right,
remember
but
a guy
his
named Reggie
character can-
Rogers?
I don't personally.
Okay, there was a guy named Reggie Rogers. He was a D tackle, University of Washington. The guy was a flat out fucking stud. Okay, he was going 100, I think it was 118 miles an hour, down 75, killed somebody in a vehicular manslaughter. And he had character issues when he was at Washington, and the Ford said, "We are never doing this again." And you got to give him credit. They never have.
I
So,
mean,
I
I don't
mean,
know
I'm
if
just saying.
that's true because Ndamukong Suh did play for us. I'm just saying. I
Yeah,
also feel
but,
like
I mean, he
the
wasn't-
character,
yeah.
but the character concerns on Mike Green isn't like he's some guy out here, getting in trouble with the police. His problem was he got accused of sexual assault.
Accused. Right.
So it's like-
Allegedly, and believe me, that, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it'd be different if there was like that on top of like other stuff. But it's like that. Just
Right.
that is like, okay, let's break this down. An accusation is an accusation. He didn't get convicted for it. So the way I'm looking at it is, then he must not have done it in that way.
No, I agree. I
In
mean,
that
look at
way.
the Duke lacrosse team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I don't
and-
buy anything anymore.
Yeah.
I'll never. After Duke lacrosse, I'm out on this.
Ooh,
You better
the
prove it.
Steelers just did what we all thought they would and passed on Shedeur Sanders, and they took your boy, Derek Harmon from Oregon.
Yeah. Fuck you, Sanders. Fuck you. Suck it. Suck it. I'm sorry. He's got the money sign in the background, his little party. Now his back's turned to the goddamn fucking camera. He's doing his little this stuff. It's like, dude, you're more tense than I am when I do. You're doing the white man overbite dance right now. He's all fucked up. Then he's got some dude with some those big ass hats sitting there like lecturing him like,
Easy
you
now.
man, you good man. They gonna regret this shit, man. How are you gonna take a dude with a hat like that seriously? They're gonna regret it, man. You good, man. You good, dog. Don't listen to him. Shut the fuck up. He's a dick. I'm sorry. Hall of Fame quarterback at Colorado University quarterback Shedeur Sanders is a dick. Where does he go now? Here's the question. Where does he go?
I don't know. I don't know him personally, so I'm gonna
Where does he
not
go?
comment. But I don't know
Cleveland.
where he goes. I think he does go to Cleveland or New York at this point in the second round. I think we all kind of saw that coming.
I said first pick, second round is where I had him.
Yeah, I think everybody would agree with you on that. It's either that or someone trades up into the first, like New York, just to jump Cleveland for him. Which I don't know if that happens.
Well, that's the
I
only
think
way. Yeah.
I think if anything, New York trades up for Dart, and I don't think they trade up for Sanders. I don't know though, because they've done some of the most work on Sanders in this whole draft. So I don't know. We could I could see it.
I'll go back to you know what? There's a great quarterback class coming out now. You're not going to be any good. Just don't take a quarterback to take one and just have to. Then you have to keep them. Daniel Jones. Enough said. There you go.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones. They took him because they thought they had to take him, and they had to hang on to him for 3 years because you only have 3 years. And you know what? A GM's ass could be on the line by taking Sanders. So that's the biggest point. You took him. He sucks. You're fired. So do you want to be that GM to gamble with your career?
I
'Cause
mean,
that's
I
what
don't
we're
know.
doing.
Maybe if they took him with the 3rd overall pick. I don't know if you take a guy with the 2nd overall pick and he's not that good. I don't think that really makes I don't think it really kills you.
I
You
just wanted
know,
to give a
Oh, it's second round. It doesn't.
no, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I just feel
Oh, yeah.
I feel like personally, I think he's a decent guy. I think he's
Oh.
a Kirk
He's
Cousins.
I'm not calling him. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I mean,
he's
a
cocky
quarterback.
bastard.
I just mean
Yeah.
as a quarterback. He's a decent
Okay.
quarterback.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like
Yeah.
a Kirk Cousins type, Jared Goff type. And I know a lot of Lions fans, when I say that, are going to get really pissed off. But I just feel like Jared Goff is a middle tier quarterback. And we have fortunately made him a top tier quarterback in terms of statistics and, winning percentages. So it's working out for us. But he is a middle tier quarterback. And I think Sanders, it could be along those same lines of he's like, and I wouldn't even say he's as good as Goff. That's not where I'm going. I'm more saying the style.
Yeah.
But I think Sanders, I think Goff is like a top 15 guy. I think Sanders is right around, at his best, is right around 20.
I mean,
I'm
Goff
not
went
gambling.
first overall in
If
this
I'm a
draft.
GM, I'm not gambling my job. I am not going to gamble my job taking Shadur Sanders. I'm just going to say, you know what, boss, owner, we don't like anybody in this draft. Next year, there's our guys there. And he's saying in the back of his mind, I ain't going to get fired for taking this dude. And there's a chance.
Yeah.
What's the better odds? Him not being good or him being good? Not being good, I would say.
To
You're
be
a GM.
fair, I
You're a
would say
GM.
not being good.
Yeah, I agree. But
I
so
mean-
if you're a GM, fuck around and find out. Yeah, this is the best fuck around and find out moment for a GM right now. Take him in the second round, that's fine. I got zero issue. Look at Drew Brees. All right. But you take him in the first round, it's your ass, man. It's your ass on the line.
So anyway, Derek Harmon, right, was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He, great player. We've all talked about him quite a bit now. I know, James, he's one of your favorite guys in this draft, and I'm sure he's definitely one of the guys we wanted the Lions to end up grabbing.
I was not going to trade up for him, though.
No, not trading up. Just hopefully he fell. I was thinking medicals might make him, drop a little bit. But, I also think this is right where we thought he would go if they didn't take Shador. It makes the most sense, Derek Harmon going there. They need the trenches help. Like Nick said earlier, the trenches is where they need to go, and defensive line is definitely the number one spot. So they got a good player for what they need.
Yeah,
Chargers go golden here, don't they? Chargers got to go
ask you guys
golden.
about that because for every mock draft we did, we had them take Loveland or Grant or one of the Michigan guys, and they're already off the board. So what do you think the Chargers do with this current pick?
Golden.
That's a great question because Golden would make some sense. They do need more pass catchers. I do think that they go defensive line, though. Let's see. Let's look. I think they could go Mike Green. I think.
But Mason Taylor's there at 29, the best available, 29th overall. Mason Taylor
Tight end
from LSU.
LSU. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they would take him in the second, if anything. Malachi Starks would make some sense.
Yeah, and then an edge rusher always does.
He
can't go wrong. They could.
I know, but Derwin is getting old and he's expensive. So.
They could take Campbell here.
They definitely could. Yeah, Jihad Campbell would make a lot of sense.
They could. I don't know, man. This one's my money's on Golden. It is. I'm gonna die on that hill with this one.
I could see it.
They need a receiver. They need a receiver. Look how they got exposed against Houston.
Yeah.
They got exposed.
Then I did give
when Lad McConkey.
You know who we're leaving out right now? Mr. Will
no,
Johnson
no.
from Michigan. I think Will Johnson would make some sense.
Well, look at the
he's a
connection.
Michigan pick. There you
Hello.
I just feel they need a corner. Nope. No, Emeka Egbuka.
No, it's not official yet.
Emeka Egbuka. He got
my
picked.
boy Prater's. His head is
it did
exploding
happen?
right now because he knows we're going to come in tomorrow and bust his ass.
Okay. I think one thing we need to do right now is keep one conversation going because we're kind of
No, I know.
just all of us are kind of talking at the
Yeah.
same time and nobody can understand anything anyone is saying. So,
Who did
um,
what with the Christmas tree?
no, so the Chargers. Okay, Brad, you think they're going to go wide receiver? James,
Yep.
you think they're going to go Jihad Campbell? Right? That's your prediction. I would
I think
probably
he's the best
agree.
player remaining.
Yeah, I would agree. Mike Green or Jihad Campbell. I think Will Johnson has a chance as well because he is a damn good corner, and they need corners over there, man. And I just feel like any of
I
those
don't
three would
think
make
Johnson.
sense.
I don't think Johnson's going because they just peered into him. He doesn't look very happy, and there's no phone by his ear. The secret is when there's a phone by the ear. And there's no phone, and he don't look happy.
Well, they still got a minute
I
left.
think it would make sense. No,
Yeah.
I think it would make sense. I mean, I would be like, yeah, okay, cool. But something about Johnson now, when you hurt a ligament in your toe, that really never ever heals.
Frank Ragnow.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like, Will Johnson's definitely going to keep falling. And maybe Schrager was right, man. I mean, maybe he falls all the way to Detroit and we grab him up. I could see it.
No problem with that.
I wouldn't love it. I don't have a problem, but it's like, bro, now we have too many corners. It's like we got to do something.
Yeah.
Like we would have to trade
Yeah.
somebody because we literally can't keep every corner that we signed and that we have now would have drafted because then we drafted Terrion, Rakestraw, and Will Johnson. That's 3, right? Really, you only want about 6 max. So it's like that's 3 right there. You only get 3
Reed.
more spots. Reed obviously is staying, but then it's like, okay, who's the other 2? I mean,
Let's do this. Let's
You
do
can't think
this.
of them. We're not going to have a hard time making sense.
No, but I'm saying
Let's go with-
like. Go ahead, Brad.
No, you finish your point because I gotta look. Mine's probably longer. Go ahead.
Okay, so my point is that I'm just spacing on the names right now of who our depth is because we Rocky Sin, we signed
He won't make the team.
who's the other guy that we signed? Avante Maddox. We also signed
Maddox could.
Oh, we got frickin' Akeem Robertson as well.
Amik, yeah.
Amik,
Yeah.
I don't know why I said Akeem. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Amik,
He's a
It's-
stud.
I'm dyslexic.
Shame on
so.
me for forgetting that. He's a
I
stud.
like
Yeah.
that guy.
So that's
You
what I'm
shut
saying.
down,
I feel like that'd be
ooh.
hard to keep.
Yeah.
It's just a talent I could not pass on. Granted, that's once again assuming Jihad Campbell is gone, then it would take Will Johnson. But like once again, if I don't care who's on the board, if Will Johnson, if Jihad Campbell's on the board, he's my guy.
Yeah.
With this board.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Okay, let's try this.
Oh, hold on.
Who's left on Oh, yeah.
Hold on. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, we're good. I'm sorry. It just said Riverside was having a problem connecting, so I wanted to make sure we were still live while we were talking.
Oh, I
Go
thought
ahead.
the pick is in though for LA.
Yeah,
LA
it is.
pick is in.
Yep.
I
I have
see
not
that.
gotten.
Yeah, they went down all the way to like 15 seconds. So
Yep. Still hasn't been announced on Twitter either. So
maybe they're talking trade if they're taking last second. I don't know.
maybe. I have
They're
noticed
talking
though. It
trade and
seems
then
like the last few teams have really taken the clock all the way down because we were kind of burning through these picks a little bit. I don't know if you guys noticed. It was only an hour.
No, this
and
is
we
a
were already-
fast one. Yeah.
But this time we've only gone through like 4 picks in the last half hour. So hopefully we get to the Lions pick sooner than later, man. Because I really
Cool.
am itching to see who we grab. It's
You should go get that.
Omarion Hampton for the
Wow.
Chargers. Omarion Hampton joins
Man,
Didn't
Harbaugh
have
loves
that
that
one.
run
I
game.
think, okay.
Najee Harris, man. Holy shit.
Big explosive back, workhorse. There you go,
Now-
Harbaugh guy.
Najee Harris fans, fantasy owners are pissed. Because we finally thought he was going to have where he's the workhorse, and now he's not. So, fuck. That's great.
Yeah.
Just one
Hey,
thing.
that's good for us. But that's good
Yep.
for us. That pick.
It is. I totally agree.
Very
You
good
didn't want
for us.
Omarion Hampton to pair with Gibbs and Montgomery?
You know, I
I
mean,
want Scatterboo. I want
knows?
Scatterboo
Take
too.
both. Take him too. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Running back only draft, baby.
Yeah.
I want Scatterboo. I want
Fucking pound the
Scatterboo
ball.
bad.
I hope he wants you too,
Damn,
Brad.
his girlfriend's hot. His girlfriend's hot. Yeah. Well, no. Do you see Hampton's girlfriend?
I
Holy
did not.
fuck.
I did
Oh,
not.
It's not
dude.
something. It's not something I pay attention to, so no.
No, not really.
Whatever. All right. So with who's left on the board, James, read one off at a time, and then let's do the scale of 1 to 10. How excited would you be?
Well, we got Will Johnson. I would say like a 6 because he's a good player, but
5.
the
Yeah,
pick I
5.
don't like.
8.
8. Then we got James Pierce. 6, 5. I'd probably say a 5 on that one.
Ooh, I'd say an 8.
Maxwell Hairston, again, I'd even go 4
2.
just because, yeah.
2.
2. 2.
Jod Campbell, 9.
10.
9.
Mike Green,
10.
9.
10.
7.
Josh Simmons, I'd say, is like a 7, 6, 7 for me.
8.
And then
9.
Easy, who's probably, I would say, like a 8 for me.
3.
8.
3, damn, all right.
Just because of who else is on the board.
That
But,
makes
I mean-
sense. I get it.
If we drafted him, I don't think it would be with them on the board.
If we draft him over Campbell, I will flip my table.
No, we would. I mean, I don't think. No, we definitely wouldn't. This is more. I think
I
this
would.
is more of like right, but I'm not. But I'm saying they wouldn't draft him over
okay.
him. Is what I'm saying. Like I think this is more of just if this guy was available and we picked him, how would you feel about it? Not more of if they picked
I'm
over
fine
the
with
other guy.
adding Easy. Like depending
Yeah.
on what the board looks like, I'm absolutely fine with drafting
Yeah.
him. He's just
All right, who
probably
else
up
we
on
got?
list remaining like 5.
Yeah, and then we got Malachi Starks from Georgia. I'd say like a 5.
1.
8, 7.
Damn, 1. Let's see. Yeah, I
Green-
mean, there's
Green
not
Bay
a
is going
ton.
to take Golden, by the way.
Probably, yeah.
No, it's not. That's why I say a 1. Yeah.
I
There-
say every mock I did, I had Starks going to Green Bay. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I got too. Or you know what? Matthew Golden could. Golden could go
Yeah,
here.
they do need a number 1 receiver. They
Yeah.
have like 4 number 2s.
All right, who else we got?
Packers just don't.
Who else?
That's it. That's it, man. That's the only people that's worth taking at 28. I mean, it's a decent list. There's like 7 guys there, so we should definitely get one of them. There's only 5 picks till we're on. So
Oh yeah, we're good. We are. No
Man,
pun
I am
intended, we are
just-
golden.
I'm just really hoping right now that Mike Green or Jod Campbell, man, if that happens, dude, I will literally fucking scream. Like genuinely,
don't.
I will scream. Oh, I'll do it now
As long
just
as,
for
as
you,
long
Brad.
as it's not a high pitched scream, I'm good. Just not.
Do
a
I
high
look
pitched
like
scream.
I'd have a high pitched scream?
Yes.
You never know nowadays.
What the fuck? What
Love
the
you,
fuck? What the
I'm
fuck,
fucking
man?
with you. I'm fucking with you. I'm just saying. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I digress.
Eagles are
By being
discussing
cheesy,
trading
I
up.
think They don't like you.
Valid. Eagles are discussing moving up with the Packers right now. So the Packers might not even pick. The Eagles might be moving up
Pierce.
for Mike Green. That'd be my bet.
Oh, fuck me. What? Maybe
Pierce. My God.
maybe Marway.
Can you imagine
Marway.
Mike Green next to
It is.
Jalen Carter.
Oh, shit.
Look at these backwood fucks from Green Bay. What the fuck is that guy?
Hey, let's have some respect for Green Bay, man. Look, I went there.
Oh,
Listen to me, Brad. Have you ever been there?
okay. Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. I liked it.
Okay.
It was a solid place. Okay. We were just,
Oh yeah.
bro, we went to the all you can eat and drink before the game, right? Met a bunch of Packers fans. We all had a great time for like 3 hours. We started drinking at fucking 11 in the morning. Okay. All in a
Okay.
powwow together, fucking hanging out. Great time. Went to the game, right? We're all talking shit, right? And then we whooped their fucking ass. And you know what happened? They took it with dignity. Okay. These aren't the fucking Bears, bro. Okay. We should at least have a little bit of respect for the Packers because, you know,
They threw a
They're-
beer on Amon Ra.
Yeah,
Oh.
I get it. But I'm just saying, it's like we would do the same thing if their fucking player jumped on our
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So it's like we
I
can't
wouldn't.
I wouldn't either, but we know Detroit fans
Someone
would. Okay,
would,
Well,
let's
we
be
did
real.
the one guy, he had his season tickets revoked because he got in LaFleur's face last year.
Exactly. So
No,
I
get
just
it.
feel
I'm not even really talking about
I know. I like Green
just
Bay.
the people, the Midwestern, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of but you got to admit, and I get it, and I respect all of what you said, but it's kind of like a hick kind of place. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
Brad,
Just,
do you know where you're from, or because this is Michigan,
used to be
brother?
Water
There ain't
Junkie.
much different.
No, it's
It
true.
ain't much
it's
different.
true. No,
Because
it's true.
shit, we're
And,
all the same, really. At the end of the day, I think that's why we got along so well. It was like shit. These are just fucking
Probably.
a little bit Western
you're right.
types. You know what I'm saying? Packers are picking though. They're
taking
staying
this.
on. They're staying on and picking at 23.
They're taking this down to the wire, so
Yeah.
we
want
could see
them to
these go a
take-
little longer because there's some good, viable talent on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a part of me wants them to take Malachi Starks just so I can say I was right, but he's a really good player, and I don't want
Yeah.
him to be on a different.
I want them to say that.
I think
because
they'll
that
take Will
keeps us
Johnson,
in the,
man. Yeah. I think they take Will Johnson right here.
That makes sense because Alexander. That makes sense.
Matthew.
Dude,
Golden.
you were right. You called it, Brad. It was Golden. It was
Okay.
Golden. Matthew Golden is the pick for the
Yeah.
Packers. Makes total sense. I just didn't see it because their GM hates wide receivers, I guess. I mean,
Oh yeah, but Rodgers is gone, so now he's basically saying "fuck you, Aaron." Here we
Right.
go.
right.
North Dakota State guy Watson. Is he really going to fully come? I mean, their receiver core it's thin. It's thin.
Yeah.
It's very thin. And Jordan Love needs as much help as he can get. I'm sorry, he just does.
For sure.
You know.
Green Bay Packers pick is in, at least according to my TV.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah,
far
yeah.
behind you guys.
It's Matthew Golden. We already.
I know that's what I mean.
Oh.
Though I'm just like it just came across.
No,
my
it's
screen
it just came across mine too. It's just because I
Okay.
get it on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Okay, yeah, I'm on. I have DirecTV Stream, and I'm like
Oh.
40 seconds behind some other people.
Got you.
But, like,
Yeah, I
can
wonder how
see-
that works because we have YouTube TV, so maybe it's just that's a little faster.
Yeah, but I see it now on Twitter from Ari. Not too worried about that pick, to be honest.
He's a great player. He's a speedster. I mean, honestly, he's a good fucking wide receiver, man. It's a little.
He is.
It's not, but it's not like I go fuck. You know, I
Yeah.
think I would have felt a little worse about Will Johnson or Malachi Starks if I'm being honest.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. This does not put the fear of God into me. I'll tell you that.
No, I like him for fantasy though.
Jonte, yeah, Jonte
There's,
to Bears. That would have put the fear of God in me. I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh fuck.
Yeah,
But the Bears could take Trayvon Henderson in the second round.
yeah,
I'm not worried
That's
about
not
him.
exactly a bad pick.
no. So, guys,
It's good.
I am a bit of a lightweight, I guess. I got to piss again, so I will be right back. The Lions
Once you
pick
break
in
the seal,
4
man.
picks, so you're right. But hey, I'm
Once
down
it
in
goes, it
beers.
never
These
stops.
picks and Jace misses it.
I'm 2 beers in a water and a half, so I'm hydrated. All right,
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. Well.
These young kids can't hold.
All
it.
right. So then you got
Man.
Minnesota. I think Minnesota's going to go Will Johnson. I think that's where Minnesota goes. They're going to go defensive back, in my opinion, no matter what. They're going defensive back. So it's either going to
What's
be a
his name
safety
starting
or
to
it's
get
going to be.
old? Harrison Smith's getting old. I wonder if they go starts though.
Yep. I think your boy goes here, or Amari goes here, or Will Johnson. One of those three. That's just what I think. So. Who is this guy? It's at the podium.
I don't know.
They don't
I
have
wasn't
the
looking
volume.
when they said his name.
Yeah.
He looks familiar though.
Yeah.
He's got to be a former player. I know that face. I
It's
just
not
can't
Aaron.
put a name.
Is that Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers looks that
no,
old.
No.
That's funny. I just
I
make
feel
the
bad not
fucking
knowing.
pick, dude.
Yeah, that's one thing I hate about the later rounds when they have like the guest pickers, and they're just like, oh,
Yeah.
shout out to my boys, shout out like Packers Nation, shout out. I'm like, just say the pick.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on.
Well, who do the Vikings
Wow.
pick?
That's a
Because
statement.
there is a
Yeah,
lot of
Defensive
good
back.
players. Yeah, corner
They go D
corner
back.
Starks
Yeah,
or
they go
Starks,
D back.
Harrison Smith.
Yep. Yep. I'm not sure who it is, but it's definitely going to be a defensive back.
They're
I'm going to go
take like
Starks.
something weird, like a wide receiver, just to fuck with you.
that would be crazy.
Well,
Take a tight end.
Right.
Dennis Green took Randy Moss when he had Chris Carter. So,
True.
I don't like talking about Randy Moss because I know we took Terry Fair the very pick before that.
oh God, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
But we
That
don't
was
draft
too
guys with
too
character
soon.
issues, so
Dude, that's almost 30 years ago, and it's still too soon.
see, I'm not that young. I remember drafting Terry Fair, okay?
Oh yeah, this dude looks like he's 5 years old.
Apparently Will Johnson is slipping because of long-term concerns about his knees.
What about his toe? I'm telling you, ligaments, man.
I don't know. I guess it's his
Oof,
knees that they're
those
worried
hurt.
about.
Yeah.
I mean, we obviously
Who
don't
is
have the
that
medical
guy?
reports on them. If they're that bad, then okay, pass on them. But
Yeah.
we
I don't
can
want
only know so
Johnson.
much.
I mean, it's just a feel, but I don't want him. I
If
don't
he's
want
on
him.
the board, I want to trade down because if somebody wants to come get somebody, because I just feel if Mike Green and John Campbell are gone, Donovan Easy's the only one I'm really wanting. And I'd be fine if we just took him, but at that point, it's like we might be able to get him 2 picks later. Who knows? But the Commanders might take him too.
There's only 4 more picks
Yeah.
before the Lions are on the clock,
Yep.
and Campbell and Green would make you
Dude.
do a fucking cartwheel. So
Well, and that's fucked up.
Oh my
Well,
God.
not that's fucked up, but the fucked up thing is there's 2 teams right before us that both need edge rushers. So we might get our hearts ripped out, boys.
well, I will say,
Eh.
because he is number 3 on that list, but Simmons is still there. He can play
Yeah.
guard day 1 and then eventually move to
I
right
want-
tackle when we move on.
I
from that.
want Simmons, man. I want Simmons.
I want the other
I
2
want
before
Easy
Simmons, but I
first.
would not bitch at
No,
all
I
on
want
Simmons.
Okay, you could Campbell, Easy, Simmons, Jackson.
Okay. Hold on, sorry,
Green.
Brad. Sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off here. The Vikings selected
No,
Donovan
no.
Jackson, number 24, and
Makes
the
sense.
Eagles are currently trying to trade up, and I would guarantee you it's for one of Campbell or Green, and I'm telling you right the fuck now, if they trade up and out,
Lions.
no, not with the Lions, it'll be over us because it'll be to jump our dumbasses as we're fucking sitting at 28 waiting for him to slide. Oh, hey, we're going to get our guy. And then Howie Roseman's fucking ass is going to come over here and say, oh, you thought you were getting somebody, did you? All right, I'll take him. And Mike Green is going to be
There's still
gone.
guys there.
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm sorry, but if neither of them are there, if those 3 edge rushers are not there, I do not want to pick there. I want to trade down. Period. I don't see another player that's
24,
worth it.
25,
Josh Simmons is a solid player, yeah, but we're taking another guy who, Brad, you said Manu was basically a waste of a pick, and it's like I kind of get where you're coming from, but Josh Simmons ain't going to play next year. You think he is? He ain't. I mean, he's going to be another guy we took in the first round who's just going to sit, and we're going to see what happens in the next 2 years.
I don't know. I'd be surprised.
Sure.
I think he's going to play somewhere on that line.
I don't think J-Mo's a great example, though, because it's another thing where you traded up for him and he was a good player for 1 year, but now you got to think about trading him because you can't fucking afford him because he had 1 good year. And it's like, great, I'm glad we did that, but it's like, we're not talking about Jamar Chase, guys. Like, I don't know why people talk about J-Mo as if he's like a fucking, like a top 5 wide receiver. He's not. He's not even the best receiver on the team. Like, and we gave up so much to get him. I mean, I would agree J-Mo's more of a mismatch, but fucking Amon-Ra for some reason catches way more balls and he's way more productive and he gets more touchdowns and he gets more yards. I mean, I don't know what to say.
For
Like,
now.
maybe.
I think J-Mo's ceiling is much higher than St. Brown's. but
All I'm
St.
saying
Brown's
is-
floor is very high.
Who did we
Obviously.
pay? Who did we pay? because
The one who we drafted first, and his contract was up first.
Right. But we paid him for a reason. So think about it this way, right? We're currently hearing rumors about trading JMO. If that happens or not, the fact that rumors even exist, it's like, okay, it makes sense. And I think we all could agree that it does make a little bit of sense, because we all did agree on a podcast recently that it does make sense if we can't, because we can't afford him. The reason we can't afford him, we signed Amon-Ra to that long extension. It's going to be similar money. I mean, yeah, it's a year or two later, so it might even be a little bit more, but that to me shows we didn't prioritize him. So I'm just
I don't
saying,
think they're going to re-sign Jambo. I just don't think they're going to. I think they trade him either this year or next. I don't think they're going to re-sign him. I've come to those terms. I have.
yeah, but
you
that's
can't
what I'm
pay everybody, and
right.
You can't.
But
pay
what I'm
everybody.
saying is,
but I
what
do
I'm
think
saying
with
is,
Simmons, you've got to get. No,
yeah.
go ahead.
What I'm saying is, with Simmons, he's a great player, and I wouldn't mind taking him. It's just I think we could trade back and get him still if he makes it to us, because we got Houston and LA, which the Giants traded up.
Oh fuck!
They traded up.
And I got to see his fucking
With Houston. They traded up with Houston.
You know where that's
25.
Got to see his ass.
Giants traded for 25. They gave up 34, 99, and a third rounder next year. So recently, wait, no, it wasn't. It wasn't Houston. Wait. Yes, okay, never mind.
Houston's
I'm
on the
wrong.
clock.
Yeah, no. The Vikings took Donovan Jackson for some reason. I was thinking.
Yeah.
But hey,
Giants traded up before the Rams because the Rams maybe was going to take Shadur.
I think it's Dart, man.
Watch one take Shadur, one take Dart, and then we get Green or Campbell.
Bro, that would be fucking beautiful. That would be
as long
beautiful.
as Sanders doesn't go in the first round. I don't give a fuck.
That would be two of
you know
my
what
top
I mean?
5 players for us. Because obviously I didn't have Abdul Carter on my list and all that.
Right.
But players for us, Campbell and Green were literally 2 of my top 3. The only person I had in that mix that got taken was Booker.
I'm telling you, we're going to be happy with whoever we get. Because this board did fall right.
It did.
This board fell almost exactly.
Perfectly. The only thing I'm worried about now is Baltimore, because depending on what the Giants do here, I don't know if the Rams go quarterback. They could, potentially, and maybe that's why the Giants moved up to get ahead of them, like you said. But maybe because the Giants moved up, now they don't, because they only really liked the guy that the Giants moved up for. So who knows? I mean, I still do worry that Baltimore is going to take our guy, but there's 2 left. So we have a really, really good chance right now.
Yeah, there's more. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get somebody.
Campbell or Green.
It's Jackson Dart to the Giants. So,
Shadur's head is exploding. I love it.
He's not even a top 2 quarterback in a shit class.
Nope.
I love it. I love this. This made my night. I mean, when I don't like somebody, I really don't like somebody, and I don't like him.
I just don't like him as a prospect. I don't give a shit about him as a person, like yay or nay. He's cocky and he's not that good.
Right. Well, but what part did you say first? Cocky. That's why I don't like him.
Well, I'm okay with cocky if you can back it up. Like his dad talks nonstop.
And he can't.
Shit.
That's my point. He can't back it up.
His kid can't.
Right.
So I got no problem with Dion. I do have a problem with Shadur.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. He can't back it up, and he's cocky. If you're cocky, can't back it up, man. It don't fly with me. It just don't. And the fact that he's Hall of Fame quarterback, Shadur Sanders, it's the biggest fucking joke I've ever fucking heard. I'm sorry, it just is. Hall of Fame, 13-12 record, no conference championships, and a fucking ass kicking in a bowl game. You make the Hall of Fame?
Go.
Nah, Daddy got to go.
Goat.
Fucking Shadur.
Well, I mean, it's working out for us right now. We were right about him. Seems like they're not drafting
here's
them.
the question.
Here's what's going to piss me off, though.
Go
ahead.
Here's the question. Do they pan in to their little, party when they hear that Dart goes? Do you think they have the balls to peer into Shadur's party?
I hope so.
I think they do, and I want to see the fucking reaction.
Man, I'm kind
I
of
don't
pissed.
Those rejected will be respected. I love this. This is so funny. Funny thing is I got a prime jersey. I got a Deion Sanders Atlanta jersey because I actually like Deion, but I don't
I got
like
no
the way
problem
he
with
pimps up his kid. Yeah, not at all. I mean, I loved him as a player. Fucking loved him. You know what he said about Detroit, the draft, right? When he got drafted by
Yeah,
Atlanta,
he would ask so much money
Detroit
that
had to
Detroit
pay
would
me
have to
so.
put him on layaway.
There they go. They're peered in. Nice fake smile. Nice fake laugh. Nice fucking Shane. You got all dressed up.
Yeah,
I
that's a Hall
wonder
of Fame
if
smile.
the Rams, or I wonder where the Rams are going to go now with their pick because, as we mentioned already before, Will Johnson's still available. James Pierce is here.
So
Maxwell
Jahad
Hairston,
Campbell still there.
Jahad Campbell, Mike Green, Josh Simmons, Eamon Worry, Easy. That's a lot of guys, man. That
Any
they could take.
receivers left? They do need a receiver to replace Cooper Kupp.
Not that I would take. I did hear some talks of Jaden Higgins possibly going in the first round, though. So
No, not bad.
I don't see that, but
No.
I've been just kind of paying
They could
attention
go.
just pick by pick, so not the big picture who's left receiver wise. They do need a
Right.
corner, but once again,
Who
I
are-
don't know what how bad the medicals are.
Who
on
are
it.
the Rams?
one at a time, guys.
Who are the Rams linebackers? They're linebackers, and they got Jared Verse. He's not a linebacker, but he's pretty fucking
Defensive end?
good.
Yeah.
The Rams
Um,
just traded with the Falcons.
yeah.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Mike Green.
Mike Green, you fucking motherfuckers, dude. God damn it. I know Brad
Well,
is
you want me to
pissed.
be honest, or you want me to?
I know that's what it is. I'm
To be
saying these
honest.
motherfuckers traded up and
I
took
know.
our guy.
Yeah,
It's just like,
So
that's
man,
Mike Green.
Man, if they take Green and then Baltimore takes Campbell, I'm gonna be pissed.
me too, and that's probably what's going to happen, to be honest with you.
I guess Simmons would be my pick at that point, but I'd still be mad.
And we're not going to get a trade
I
up
still
because
think-
the Giants already traded up.
Yep.
Fuck.
I'm happy still. I'm happy. I'm not upset with whatever we get, as long as it's not like something out of the blue. I'm
All I
happy.
know is I need another one of these right now.
When was the
I'll do
last
that. You're
time
gonna pee all
did
night.
Brad Holmes? When did Brad Holmes? Has he traded up in every draft in the first round since he's been here? I don't.
Twice.
He might have.
He's traded up for JMO and he traded up for Terry Arnold this
Terrion?
last year.
Oh, he didn't. He didn't trade up for. No, he did. Hutchinson, JMO.
No, Hutchinson, we just had the second pick. We did trade
Okay.
up for JMO and we did trade up for Terry Arnold
Yep.
last year.
Gibbs. Did we trade up for Gibbs too?
No, we traded back.
Oh yeah, that's right. And we traded up for Campbell.
No.
Yeah, I don't remember all these.
Did you read my article?
Jackson
I covered every
Dart.
trade he's ever done. It took me 20 hours to research that shit.
Ah,
Hell, I was even covering the 7th round trades and bullshit. I deep dove the hell out of it.
He's got a lot of them.
6'2". Basically 6'2". They say 6'2 and a quarter. That's 6'2".
I just wonder who the Giants
I
are
don't know.
getting. It's got to be Mike Green. Or I'm
Giants.
sorry, the
Falcons.
Falcons, sorry.
Oh. It's got to be Green or
Yeah.
Campbell, but I'm heavily saying
What the bro? The
Hold on,
Falcons
hold on,
gave
hold on.
up. The Falcon. Listen to this, guys. The Falcons traded 46, 242, and a first rounder next year to get to 26.
Oh my God! What are these teams
Well,
thinking? You're trading first round draft
Next
picks.
year's a good draft too.
That's crazy as fuck.
Next year's a good draft.
This
That's
is the end of the
genuinely
draft.
crazy as fuck.
The end of the draft, and you're trading first round draft picks. Hell no. Well, thank you. They're an NFC team. Thank you. Oh wow. Oh wow. This is funny. Look at that quarterback room for the Giants. I think Tommy DeVito finally goes back to slinging the prosciutto in his dad's deli. I think he's done. Jameis Winston will
Yeah,
be
the
a
Texans-
cut.
Sorry, it just came up on my feed. I know it's the last trade. But the Texans, only moving back 9 spots from 25 to 34, got picked 99 and the third next year. Like,
The Falcons gave up so much more. That's insane.
oh my God, yeah.
This is
And they put a later
Falcons. This is as bad as the Jaguars' capital giving up. Maybe worse.
That's worse. No, this is
Actually
way
worse.
worse. This is way worse.
It is.
And they gave
It
up a
is.
second. I could get it if it was just a first next year straight up. You gave up a second, a fucking seventh, and a first. That's crazy work.
I would say this is worse than the
Stupid.
Jaguars because at least the Jaguars got one of the best players in the draft.
Exactly. And, I mean, it's a more premium draft pick, and they gave up basically the same. I mean, it was similar. They gave up a similar package to move up to 2 as they just gave up
Well,
to move up to 26.
let's say they take Green. All of a sudden, you've got Jalen Walker and Mike Green as your edges.
That's
Oof.
true. That's a good
Oof.
point.
Oof. Yee.
James
Ooh.
Pierce. It's James Pierce for the Falcons, baby. Mike Green is on the board.
That's-
We're going to get one of them.
Take it.
Jihad Campbell or Mike Green.
If
Yes,
one of those
sir.
guys is on the board and we don't take either, I'm going to be pissed.
Watch, we're going to take fucking
That could-
Will Johnson or fucking Malachi Starks.
If we take one of those two, I might break the TV down.
8 picks ago, I would have loved that.
With who's
I
left?
know.
No, I'm with you, bro.
With who's left? with Campbell and Green and Easy still on the board, and you're going to take a fucking defensive back when you've got 2 all-pro safeties and you've got fucking a room full of corners. There's no way. There's
What
no
if we take that tight end from
fucking way.
LSU?
The one
Yeah.
problem I see right now is
Yeah.
Baltimore probably leans Jihad Campbell just simply because he fits a little bit better, I think, than Mike Green does, because of the defense that they run over there. So I think it's
I thought
more likely
Baltimore
we
was
get
going to
Mike.
take Pierce.
I did too, but
Well, I'll tell you what. I think Atlanta traded up because they thought Baltimore was going to get Pierce. How
yeah,
about that?
could be.
Who did Atlanta trade with again?
The Rams
Oh, the Rams. Okay.
fleeced them.
That's not good. Yep. That's not good
Yeah,
either.
Mr. Fuck Them Picks just got a lot of picks.
He did. Now he wants to make sweet love with them picks.
I changed.
God damn.
I'm a different
That
man.
is a huge woman next to
That was
James
that was
Pierce.
the old
She's
one.
got elephant legs.
Oh, what?
Oh, okay. Just calling out the fucking players' moms, I guess.
Did you see her?
No,
I
what?
see
That's
Goodell
2 tons
walking
of
across
fun
the
right
street.
there.
Hell
She
no.
took up half the screen.
I'm
All
not
right.
a small
Bigger than her
man
son.
either, man. What are you
All
saying?
right. Well, let's move on from the weight conversation. Anyway, James Pierce Jr.
2 tons of fun.
is he's a pretty good pass rusher, you know, and I don't know about giving up as much as they did for him though, because that's rough.
No, you could
I
have
mean,
got. Oh no, you couldn't got him there.
not at 46, but still, man, I just feel like that's a lot. A
All right,
future
I'm not gonna
first
say a word.
rounder. A future first rounder. I'm like baffled about that.
I can't wait to see what the
Oof.
Rams trade it for.
True. Watch it be their quarterback. That's what they draft their fucking number 1 overall pick.
They use it to trade back up
Oh,
and get
man.
Sanders.
Right.
They take Shadir Sanders at pick 46.
No, right now, in order, Deion Campbell, Mike Green, no one else. No trade down. Let's get it done, boys.
So
Yep.
Sanders cannot go in the first round no matter what unless there's a trade. And it's not the Giants. Browns can wait now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I can
Ooh,
think
he
of
ain't
is
gonna make it,
maybe
dude.
like Tennessee wants to trade up from that spot, but like Philly's not taking one, KC's not taking one, Buffalo, Washington's not taking one. We're not taking one.
Cleveland could just sit right there and have him fall in their lap.
Cleveland can, but I think that maybe like Tennessee would want to jump Cleveland potentially.
They took Cam Ward.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Sorry.
I do think maybe Las Vegas or New Orleans though would make some sense. I think New Orleans makes a lot of sense personally.
Oh,
He
of
fits
course,
their
yeah. And then
scheme.
Las Vegas, so with Geno Smith.
That,
I
at
don't
least for
know.
me, for the Lions, I think that's dropping too far back. So I would not, unless they're going to give me next year's first, I would not
Right,
trade with
yeah.
the Saints.
Yeah,
That's too far back for me.
I hear you. Yeah. I think I would agree with Mike Green and Jihad Campbell
Yeah.
on the board. I
Yeah.
mean, but who knows?
Well,
Brad might know something we don't know. I mean, think about Brian
correct.
Branch. He fell all the way down. We traded up to get him in the mid-second round, and he was supposed to be a top 20 pick. I mean, most people mocked him to us at 16. So,
I did.
yeah.
I had him mocked us at 16. I'm like, whatever, I'll take it. We still got him at the end of the day. But
Yeah, and a lot of people, it's funny, a lot of people were mad about, positional versatility or positional picks like with Jack Campbell and Brian Branch. But everybody said if you just swapped those, put Brian Branch at 16 and Jack Campbell at, 46 or whatever it was, everybody would be totally fine with that and ecstatic about it even. But because of where they were picked, everyone was pissed. So,
all right.
Well,
Actually,
the Ravens are on the
with
clock.
Kelvin,
and I'm actually going to
I
use the
think with
restroom for the
Kelvin
first
Shepard,
time. I'm not going to do it when the Lions are on the clock.
with Kelvin Shepard, I see them going front seven. I don't see them going backfield. I just don't. I see them looking at different looks. I see sometimes a 3-4. I see sometimes a 4-3. Maybe sometimes a 5-2. So I think it's going to be a front seven guy. I don't see a defensive back coming to there.
I sure hope you're right, and I agree with you. But you never know with
Yeah.
Brad, man. He does wild shit
No, you
sometimes.
don't.
The pick
See,
is in
that's
already
yeah.
for
Oh,
Baltimore.
sometimes.
They made that fucking quick.
Wow. How does their defensive back look? They could take Amari. That's a Baltimore pick.
Yeah.
Amari's a complete Baltimore pick. So is Easy, though. So is Easy. Easy
Yep.
could go there.
Malachi
All right, did I miss
Starks.
anything?
Malachi Starks is a Baltimore Raven, folks.
Now we have to make a pick between the two.
Yeah.
I say Campbell.
I say
No
Campbell
off the
too,
field
man.
issues.
Yeah.
Whew. Who thought he was going to fall this far?
Not me. I think he was the top 10 talent
I
in the
didn't think he'd
draft.
get. I didn't think he'd get past Tampa. I really didn't.
No, that made all the sense in the world. I thought Seattle had a chance to
But the
take
thing
it, too.
is, hey, don't, hey, but like Jay said, don't get your hopes up, man. Don't be like Campbell, then be disappointed because odds are they're not going to take him. That's Brad being Brad. Odds are they're not going to take him. And I hope I'm fucking
I
wrong.
will be disappointed if it's not Campbell, but I do trust Brad Holmes. So my initial reaction will be like, fuck, why not Campbell? And then I'll come back tomorrow and be like, all
Yeah.
right, let's see what the plan is.
Yeah. Hey, Jace, you're not one of these, so don't get. But I could see these Michigan slappies who are Lions fans going, they gotta take Johnson now. They gotta take Johnson now.
No.
As a Michigan
I don't-
slappy, not with who's on the board.
I don't want Will Johnson at this point. I didn't really want him if he was
Neither
the
do
best guy.
I. I will. If they take Johnson, I will be disappointed. I'll be
Yeah.
very disappointed.
Honestly, I'm kind of glad we didn't take Starks went to Baltimore because now we can't take him. So I was a little worried we might go safety. Nick Eamon-Worry might make some sense. Not make sense, but could also get picked. But it's got to be Mike Green or Jod Campbell. And in my opinion, it's got to be Campbell. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at Green either. I just think Campbell's a little bit more versatile. Played in the SEC, Alabama guy like Brad Holmes loves. And he was the guy that was projected to go higher the whole time. So we'll see what happens, but I really want Jod Campbell. Let's see. Jod Campbell, according to Daniel Jeremiah, is the 12th player on his board, whereas Mike Green is 21st. So both would be very
I'm
solid
good with
players.
either of those guys. Like I
Yeah.
would say Campbell first, but if it is Green, I got no issues with that.
Yeah. Man, now
I'm
I'm just
surprised
looking-
he's got Mason Taylor that high.
Me too. I really don't see it. I think he's a
This
good
tells you
player,
how
but-
bad of a draft. When you got 3 tight ends in the first round, it tells you the draft is not that good. What the
Don-
hell shoes this fucking dude? Goodell, you're 60. You can't pull those off.
Easy is still
We're
available
on the
too,
clock.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Fuck. I thought it was a report. It wasn't.
Do not do that.
Yeah, no shit. Fuck, man. Fuck.
All right, well,
fuck.
it's getting late, boys.
Fuck,
It's past
fuck,
11. All right, good night.
Right. Just whole thing
Yeah,
just
no
breaks.
shit.
It just breaks. We can't go live.
This is right where the feed gives out like the cable guy. What?
Yeah. Well, it's funny too. It was being a little weird earlier, and I'm like, oh shit, here we go.
It's
And
been
it's
choppy, at least for
yeah.
me, but I don't know if that was just my feed or what.
Well, it kept saying like reconnecting like for a couple minutes. Not like total, but it would just come
It
back
still
here and
does.
there.
I still see it on yours as reconnecting with a little circle of thingy.
Oh,
No,
it doesn't
I
show.
don't. Yeah, looks fine to me.
I
Yeah,
do.
weird. I
Okay,
looked on the
guys,
Twitch
yes,
stream because
maybe.
I made sure on the Twitch stream that it was still going and it was fine. So we should be good.
Earlier on, I did look at the YouTube feed, and I'm just like, why am I watching myself? But okay.
Right?
Like, I just wanted to make sure the feed was up, share the link, stuff like that.
Yeah. Man, the Lions are on the
This is
clock,
goddamn
boys.
good.
This is when we get quiet because it's like, fuck,
That's
what are we gonna do?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I got a pit in my stomach.
I have a
11,
comment.
11.
Hear the last word Johnson.
Make a wish.
11-11, baby. You said it out loud, you motherfucker.
Okay, then Mike
You
Green.
motherfucker. You already fucked it.
Yeah, you fucked it. You fucked it good. You're talking to a baseball guy who's superstitious as fuck.
I am a baseball dude.
Bro,
motherfucker.
hey, I'll say it now. I was going to say it earlier. Look at the jersey I'm wearing. I wore this for a reason, boys. I thought to myself, if I wear the jersey of the first player that fell to us and we got lucky, I said maybe it'll happen tonight. It happened.
We got so lucky with Sewell.
But are we going to
so
take
lucky.
him? Are we going to take him? I don't know.
All I know is I would prefer not super spoilers. Because you end up seeing it 10, 15 seconds before me normally.
I mean, I'm going to find
No.
out probably pretty quick. If you...
You'll find out before we
Yeah.
do.
Yep,
Do you see it?
not yet. I'll tell you when I
Oh.
see it. No, I'll tell you. Because that's what we're doing. We're breaking news, baby. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Are we breaking it if you've already seen it on social media?
I mean, what do you define as
Why
breaking?
you gotta go and wreck our parade, bro?
I'm just,
Oh man.
I mean, Chat
I'm the
Sports
wet
probably
blanket.
says it before they tweet it. Are they breaking it, or are they tweeting it and breaking it? That's the real question. Yeah, you ain't got an answer for that one, brother.
I do, but it's just not
Oh,
going
I
to go
thought you
anywhere.
went act because it was a bad pick.
No, Lions
Oh
pick is in.
God.
And we
Oh
trade back.
fuck.
I hope. I mean,
I don't care.
No,
I
I just
hope
take
not.
Campbell or Green and move on. No trade
gotta be.
backs. Take our guy.
Mason Taylor, tight end, LSU. Trayvon Henderson, running back, Ohio State.
I would fucking cry.
I hate when I'm updating my X feed and then it gives me something from like 4 hours
Hey.
ago.
Man, they're taking their time.
Yeah, well,
I think the NFL is telling them to calm down a little bit. They got to make it to midnight. I think that was the idea there.
I thought I could
Yeah.
be wrong, but I thought the scheduled feed was up to 11.
It is, but they always seem to go to midnight. I've noticed almost every year it goes all the way to midnight. And like we said
they
earlier,
do.
the fucking early picks were going so fast. It felt like we were going to be done by 10:30. And then it was like around 20. Shit just slowed down. We've gone 7 picks in the last like hour, bro. Like that's definitely a much slower pace. Come on, you sons of bitches.
Like, I don't know if I should just keep refreshing my feed.
Oh my god, bro, we did something we shouldn't have done, and I'm fucking pissed about it, low-key. We took Ohio State defensive tackle Tyleek Williams. Are you fucking serious right now? I'm sorry, but are you fucking serious right now? Like, Mike Green and Jod Campbell are still on the board, and we took fucking defensive tackle when defensive tackle is one of the deepest positions in this entire draft. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm going to have to see how the rest of the draft plays out, but that's fucking head scratching. That's confusing. And I'll say they look fired up in the fucking draft room right now, but when's he going to play? Where's he going to
That's
play?
what they always do. It's a shtick.
I know, but where's he going to play? When? Is he going to play for the first 4 games while McNeil's out, and then when McNeil comes back, he's going to be a fucking rotational guy? Like, I genuinely don't get this, man.
Ooh.
Like,
You had some good players on that board. You
I
had
don't
Easy,
get
you
it.
had Campbell, you had Green.
I still haven't seen it, so I'm just hoping you're fucking with me.
I'm not. I am not. I would not do you like that.
Why be so excited, you guys? You got a guy you
I
could
don't
have
know, my
probably
earbuds
got
telling me battery low.
arguably in the. This guy was a second rounder, everywhere projected. I never saw him in the first round.
Over 2 of my top guys, period.
Well, you know, the only
I
thing I'll
never
say,
saw this guy projected.
the only
in
thing
the
I'll say,
first
guys,
round.
is we just got done talking about it. Brian Branch fell. We didn't think it would happen. Things can happen. Maybe, and like I said before, Brad Holmes knows things we don't know. Who knows? Maybe Jod Campbell's falling for a reason. Maybe Mike Green's falling for a reason. Maybe there's a chance they keep falling. Who knows? And I'm not going to say I doubt they make it to the second round, but maybe he trades up for him. I don't know what's going to happen, but this is confusing.
Upper torque, quick hands, struggles to finish. That's a guy.
2.5 sacks.
6'2", 334 pounds. Oof, that's a big one.
Why not?
Well,
They announced it on the TV before I've even seen it on X. Like, I still haven't even.
no, they've said it on. Everybody's posted it on Twitter.
I just
I
keep
don't
hitting
know
refresh,
about this
and I'm
pick,
getting shit from like 4 hours ago.
Ian Rappaport, Jordan Schultz, Adam Schefter.
I don't know about this
All I
pick.
did was hit refresh, and I have ESPN talking about Tyler Booker.
I'd almost rather have that JT guy than this guy.
Yeah.
I might have preferred JT over this.
I really would. Oh my god! What are they saying about him on the TV? Because I can't
I
hear
have
it.
it muted.
I haven't muted
80
too, yeah.
88.5 run defensive, 11.5 sacks, 227 in career. So that's 3 sacks a year, basically. 4 sacks a year. 137 tackles in career.
Yeah, instant reaction for anyone else out there watching, not on the pod. Brad Holmes, I trust, but yikes.
Yeah, well, this
Yeah,
is
that
Can't be
a
good.
this is
I
a
would
very
prefer Will
confusing
Johnson.
pick. Yeah, me too. I can't lie to you.
Man,
This
that's
is
shit.
wild, man. This is wild. Well, I think that might be
Of course, my
good-
Ohio State boy just
I think
my
that
Ohio
might be
State guy just texted me. I can't see it though.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think that might
Yeah.
be a good point to end this, guys. To be honest with you, because that just kind of killed.
If I
my
was you,
whole-
I'd keep drinking, Jace. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
between
would.
the disappointment
waited
and
for
my
that. It's a
earbuds
pop-
telling me battery are low because I haven't used them for this long continuously.
It's a
before,
popcorn fart, dude.
probably.
Yeah, I
What the fuck, man?
yeah I don't know, man. I don't know. That's all I really got right now. So, but with that being said, we appreciate you guys for watching as
Yeah.
always. We did something different than we normally do. We went live for almost 3.5 hours now. We had some guests on, and so it was a lot of fun. This will be posted on YouTube as well, the full length. So hopefully you guys watching this after the second round and third round happens are laughing at us because you're like, if only you dumb fuckers knew what we were going to do in the second and third round, and then you'd be clapping.
Brad Holmes.
And it's like, all right, cool. Hopefully that's what happens because this is confusing and mind-boggling and head-scratching, and the only reason that we're cutting this off is because it is 11:30 our time, and I have to work in the morning, and I stayed up just to see that. And
Hey,
now
but
I'm a
let's
little
finish.
pissed.
Hey, let's finish with a positive. Yeah, a positive note here that I'm gonna let everybody feel better about. Seriously, you'll love this. You'll feel so much better before you go to sleep. Hall of Fame Colorado
I fucking knew
University
it.
quarterback Shadur
I knew you
Sanders
were
is
gonna
not
say
being
that shit.
taken.
Well, to be honest, Brad, I don't give a fuck about Shedeur Sanders right now because we just took a defensive tackle from Ohio State, and I don't fucking get it. Fuck Shedeur Sanders. Who is that? Who the fuck
Could
is
DJ
Shedeur
Reader
Sanders?
be a cap? Could DJ Reader be a cap cut?
If it makes
No.
you guys feel better, I did just see someone on X say that his NFL comparison player is Aleem McNeil.
Fucking great. Now we got 2 of them. Awesome. I'm so glad. Fucking shit. Oh my
Where'd
god.
we go?
dude.
Where'd we take a Lee McNeil? What round?
Aleem McNeil, we took in the 3rd.
And he's
Dude,
not even
comparing him to Lee
he's
McNeil
not
is
even
like-
the player he was in college. He completely changed his game to be a good player. Think about that. He used to be 6'2", 334, nose tackle. Now he's a fucking 6'2", 315, 16-pound fucking 3-tech. It's a different thing. He does a completely different thing now. Like, oh my god, I am baffled. But anyway, with that being said, we appreciate you guys for watching. Find me at JSoSweet, James at Gullet_James, and Brad at BT8Ball. Find us all at MI Sports Media and misportsmedia.com. From the Michigan Sports Media Network, we appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one. Hopefully round 2 is better for us.